Passerby, your task is to garrison here. When Tian left, old monster Shui pondered a little and said to the courtier, if a demon clan escapes, you can kill it. However, no demon cultivation can escape here. As long as you don't leave now, you can do anything, cross-knee meditation and cultivation. It should be absolutely safe here. With that, Shui Leagwei nodded to the Demon King. They moved and flew away from the Huafan Stone Rain Belt. Two Taoist friends, there is nothing to fight here, so I won't be here. I want to fight side by side with you. Seeing such a situation, Lu courtiers were anxious immediately. It was obvious that the black area should be a designated battlefield, and all the disciples of the Maitreya Palace were there. I'm here to help. How can others be fighting and watching the excitement outside by myself? While greeting Shui Leagwei and the Medicine King, he flashed after him. However, when he flew over the Huafan Stone Defense Zone, he suddenly felt that his mana didn't listen to the call for an instant, and his body suddenly fell down from the high sky to the ground. My grass, can I be a great monk in Yupu territory fall and die here? When Lu courtiers were frightened, they hurried to try their best to mobilize their mana, but there was no way to exert any more mana. Just as he was about to fall to the ground from a high altitude, a soft mana suddenly lifted him up, and old Shui monster and the Demon King appeared in front of him again. Fellow passers-by, it's not that you won't come here to kill the Demon Clan, but that you can't exert your magic power here. Shui Leagwei looked at the courtier and shook his head with a bitter smile. Then you. And them. The Lu courtier pointed to Shui Leagwei and the Medicine King, and also pointed to the disciples of the Maitreya Palace who moved freely in the sky. He asked, puzzled. Shui Leagwei said, naturally, the disciples of our palace are not subject to any restrictions. Even if the demons in the demon world come here, they can't exert their magic power at all. Therefore, it's impossible for the demons to escape. At this time, passers-by should help themselves, practice or look at the scenery. It's also good to watch the war at that time. If you really feel sorry, I'll let some demons go and kill you even so, it was a worthwhile trip. The Lu courtier looked stifled and turned to Huafan Stone Defense. Now he really felt that he was really a waste in front of the disciples of the Maitreya Palace. When he came outside the Huafan Stone area, his mana gradually recovered. Finally, after he was far away from the Huafan Stone Defense Zone, he recovered as usual. He suddenly flew to the crown of a big tree and sat cross-legged. He wanted to see how the disciples of the Maitreya Palace killed the Demon Clan. At this time, Tian has returned to the magic weapon cave. How is it? Tian asked, looking at Hua Su and Lingming Stone Monkey. Hua Su and Lingming Stone Monkey looked at each other and smiled. Then they disappeared from their original place. Tian felt a little and said to the other big friars in the heavenly palace in the cave, let's go. The prohibition on the gate opened quietly. Some people may have noticed the changes in the prohibition, but no one knows that 8 great monks in the heavenly palace, such as Tian, Lingming Stone Monkey, Hua Su, Mu Rongjuan, Yen Yunyang, Yen Zhongkai, Tan Suqing and Yu Yan, disappeared from the magic weapon cave, performed the art of earth hiding and went directly into the ground. The only one who saw the scene was the golden eye eagle hovering in the sky, but she is not human. A group of people followed Tian and entered the underground space unconsciously. They came to the space channel and dived down. At intervals along the way, you will see several demon practitioners on duty. The demon world is so cautious that even sentinels standing guard are left in the space channel, which makes Tian and others drunk. However, Tian and others ignored these demons. These people can't be killed. Once killed, the demon world can know immediately. Because Tian knew from the soul searching that the demon practitioners in the demon world had a magic card similar to the soul card of human friars, which was stored together. If a demon cultivation falls, the corresponding magic card will break, and the demon world will naturally know. It's very easy to make these on-duty demons unaware with their hiding skills. After a period of stealth, the group went beyond the long space channel to the exit. When they arrived here, they became more and more cautious. Tian, who always shines through the eyes of the source sky, unexpectedly saw a layer of field shield arranged here at the exit of the space channel, which originally did not exist. No matter searching for the two Hades, the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor, there is no memory of this field shield. There is no doubt that this layer of field shield must have been arranged after the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor left. What's wrong? Tian whispered to Huasu, Huasu, see if the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor are dead. Not dead. Huasu thought, probing into the Spirit Beast ring, looked it up and sent a message back to Tian. With this result, Tian was completely relieved. From the soul searching, he clearly knew that there were no signs to track the breath on the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor, and they were not used to using communication magic weapons such as messenger symbols, let alone other communication means. Since the two demon emperors are not dead, it is not the demon world that made this arrangement after getting any news. This field shield is added, which should be simply for one more layer of protection. Tianyuan looked at the defense field with his heavenly eyes. After some observation, he found that this is just a layer of defense warning field. The layout is very simple and the crack is also very simple. There is no strong defense, just a warning. Whether it is destroying the field rune or forcibly attacking, it can be broken. It is even easier to pass through this field with 5 element beads. But Tian didn't act rashly. He looked out of the field shield. Through the field shield, he saw that at the exit of your space, there were 40 or 50 dark correction people watching here, with a tight attitude. In addition, there are no other findings. After a few words to the other 7 people, Tian took out the 5 element beads. Under the urging of mana, the 5 element beads emitted a faint light. The diameter of the halo is about 3 feet. With the light, Tian and the other 7 heavenly palaces can pass through the defense shield and come outside the black fog vortex. Such an obvious light naturally attracted the attention of dozens of demons, who entered the dark cloud vortex to check. When Tian collected the 5 element beads, they got nothing. Tianba was invisible around the dozens of demons and quietly observed their reactions. There's no problem. The field hasn't been touched, the demon monk said after watching it for a moment. Another dark devil said, there will be no light in the field for no reason. There must be something we have ignored. However, if there is a problem, how can the field not be alerted and the field not be touched? The previous demon monk asked. It's just a bright light. Don't make a fuss. All the people in the space channel haven't found anything. You don't have to guess here and scare yourself. Can it be that the friars of the human race sneak over? I think they don't have so much ability. In my opinion, maybe it's just something like phosphorus fire, another demon monk nearby said. I think we should inform the Star Meteor Demon Emperor of this situation. Whether there is any situation should be determined by the Star Meteor Demon Lord himself, the second monk said again. Forget it, the Star Meteor Demon Emperor is busy. He will report such a small matter. He will delay his major event at that time. We can't avoid punishment if we haven't found out any problems, the first demon show immediately persuaded him. Those demons examined it carefully again, and finally took the devil's opinion and left the strange light alone. Tian was a little disappointed when he saw that demon show handled it like this. The reason why he didn't hesitate to show some traces and pass through the shield of the field through the 5 element beads was that he also had the idea of causing these demons to guess and then inform the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. If the Black Mountain Demon Emperor came, they would naturally spend a lot less time. But now, it should be yourself who spends a lot of money. Seeing these evil practices, as discussed, he came out of the space passage and continued to be on duty at a distance without any superfluous performance. Tian decisively left here and flew away with his party. From searching the memory of the Shadowless Devil Emperor, we know that the Black Mountain Devil Emperor has no fixed place. There are 9 palaces that the Shadowless Devil Emperor knows, and there are secret palaces that he doesn't know, so it's hard to say. Where the Black Mountain Demon Emperor lives is entirely between his thoughts, and his whereabouts have always been hidden. Tian is now in the direction of the nearest magic fire city, where there is a palace of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. It's less than 100,000 miles from here. Because of the ripples in the sky due to the use of large movement, Tian and others chose to fly directly. At ordinary times, it's nothing to worry about, but stealth flight requires very high mana control. It needs to perfectly control the use of mana, which naturally limits the speed. Tian chose to fly close to the void, so as to reduce the possibility of exposure as much as possible. After flying for a period of time, a great demon city in front of him was looming. Tian lowered his height, flew into the city and flew towards the largest and most luxurious palace in the city. The palace is located in the center of the magic fire city, covering a large area. There are many halls, scattered buildings, and complex terrain in the palace. According to the memory obtained from soul searching, the shadowless demon emperor once entered this palace. In the palace, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor usually only stays in 3 places: the main hall, the bedroom, and the cultivation chamber. When the shadowless Devil Emperor saw the Black Mountain Devil Emperor, he was in the main hall. The location of the bedroom. The shadowless Devil Emperor knew about the location, but the shadowless Devil Emperor didn't know where the cultivation chamber was. But this belongs to the standard configuration of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, which must exist. It's just that the Black Mountain Demon Emperor's security work is very good, and outsiders rarely know it. The palace is heavily guarded and equipped with many magic armies. They are on duty at all positions, and occasionally patrol magic armies pass by. All this could not help Tian and his party. They bypassed many demon armies and took the lead in entering the main hall. The whole exercise is equipped with a field to prevent divine mind investigation. If you want to find the whereabouts of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, you can only check everywhere. There is a dense evil spirit lingering in the palace. It looks dark. Tian and others searched in the main hall and did not find the whereabouts of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. Just when they were ready to go to the bedroom to investigate again, suddenly, a loud whistle sounded in the palace, and then many evil practitioners swarmed towards the main hall. It may be exposed. Take off. Tian whispered to the others and flew to the sky. What makes people feel strange is that the swarm of demons changed their previous route and no longer rushed to the main hall, but flew towards the sky. It's really exposed. What a cunning Black Mountain Demon Emperor. We've been careful enough to show our whereabouts. Start fighting. Tian's eyes coagulated and said, "Don't expose your identity and kill invisibly. If not, don't use immortal tools." This beheading operation failed. No matter where the Black Mountain Demon Emperor is, he will no longer live in any palace, so beat him out. Are you interested in making a big fuss in the demon world with me? Just what I want, the Lingming Stone Monkey laughed and preached. A tooth for a tooth, said Huashu, gritting his teeth. The rest of Danang who have entered the heavenly palace have no opinion, and their strength gives them strong self-confidence. The first group of evil practitioners attacked more than 2,000 people. They seem to only know the general orientation of Tian and others, but they don't know where they are. Many magic tools soared into the sky and swept into the sky. The attack target of many magic tools was directly attacking in the void. Such a situation makes Tian's heart move. He immediately realized that it was not the magic cultivation that broke the invisibility of these people. Perhaps it was just that individual magic cultivation could sense the existence of these people by some means and judge the general position. This situation is absolutely very favorable for one's own side. The accomplishments of more than 2,000 demon monks flying up are not very high, which is roughly equivalent to the Yuanying territory of the Terran friars. Naturally, such strength does not need everyone's hand, and the Lingming Stone Monkey can handle it alone. He waved a divine stick, turned into 3 or 4 feet long, and swept through the air. In just a moment, more than 2,000 demons had been killed by him. In this way, Lingming Stone Monkey was not satisfied. He waved his magic stick and smashed the palace again, smashing a good palace to pieces. Originally, there were many demons in the city of Moyan who supported the palace, but they quickly withdrew after more than 2,000 demons were swept away by the Lingming Stone Monkey. Then, there was no such thing as a high-level demon monk. Slaughter the city. Not only did the Black Mountain Demon Emperor not appear, but any demon emperor did not appear. Tian gritted his teeth and said, "The demon world invaded the Earth Star. No demon cultivation is innocent. If you don't come out, kill them." As he spoke, Tian motioned, took out a half-immortal soldier flying sword and flew straight into the distance. As a great power in the heavenly palace, although they are invisible, they have discernible secrets. Tian is not worried that his people will be injured by mistake. There are countless demons in the magic burning city. When Tian's body was together, those demons seemed to get some orders and rushed out of the city. Retreat without war? Where Tian's body came, countless demons were killed by him. Although he was just a newcomer to the heavenly palace, his own strength has far exceeded that in the early days of the heavenly palace because of his special skills. For such demons without the level of demon emperor, they are basically second kills, and they are second kills in pieces. The magic light shines. When Tian was chasing the devil, suddenly a voice came out in the sky, and then a light ball like a small sun appeared in the sky. The whole magic burning city was illuminated in an instant. Almost at the same time, Tian found that these invisible heavenly palaces had lost the effect of invisibility, and each of them appeared in the bright sun. The demon world really has a lot of details. Some details that even the shadowless devil emperor and the purple dove devil emperor don't know. For example, how can one's invisibility be seen through? And what is the so-called magic light ball now? When Tian looked up at the light ball and wanted to find out, his eyes suddenly coagulated. Countless shadows appeared out of thin air in all directions, flocking towards themselves, and more, gradually overwhelming, everywhere. It's Warcraft. Under the cover of God, Tian found that all the shadows were Warcraft, boundless, and he couldn't see how many there were. Since the invisibility has been broken, Tian doesn't want to kill the light ball. The left and right light ball just covers the magic inflammation city for the time being. If you want to get rid of the light ball, you just need to leave the city. If the demon clan has other means to get the light ball outside the magic inflammation city, it is to kill the light ball, which is useless. It's possible that the demon family wants to try our cards with Warcraft. Be careful not to use immortal tools. Morong June, your mountain and river seal can be used. This treasure should have been exposed and there's no need to hide. Tian said again. The rest of the people heard the word of God and promised, and then they flashed to the Warcraft group. With a bang, many heavenly palaces smashed into the Warcraft group. In the boundless herd, it was like 8 huge flowers in full bloom. Animal blood, flying swords, and broken limbs were flying. The herd next to each heavenly palace was disturbed. Tian was frantically killing all kinds of Warcraft that looked tall and terrible, while Tian's eyes shone through and observed the surrounding situation. At present, this so-called magic light shining ball only shows that it can break invisibility, and has not found other effects, but if it is not found, it does not mean it must not be. Among these heavenly palace realm powers, only you have the source heavenly eye, which can see through invisibility, while others do not have this magic power. Tian is worried that there are also demons who have the power of invisibility. In this way, the enemy is dark and we are clear. I'm afraid they will be controlled by others. Even if he separated some of his mind, he was still like a tiger into a sheep in the raging tide of Warcraft, galloping and sweeping thousands of troops. 8 heavenly palace realm powers, like 8 high-speed rotating machines, frantically strangled those Warcraft that seemed to be fearless to die in the boundless herd. A large number of Warcraft were killed, and the bodies fell from the sky like rain. Such a scene is as crazy as extinction. In addition to the so-called white ball of magic light, there are crazy Warcraft everywhere in the sky, on the ground, up, down, left and right, blocking the sky and the sun. Boom boom boom, the 8 heavenly palaces, including Tian, can launch terrorist attacks again and again, and the killing of Warcraft continues. Thick corpses of Warcraft were piled up in some parts of the city, and the dark magic blood was dripping everywhere. A great magic city gradually became a city of death as the battle continued. It seemed to send out a gloomy and terrible smell. No more demons can be seen in the city. Those demons have fled outside the city. The city seems to have become a dead city. During the continuous killing, Tian not only didn't relax his observation around him, but became more vigilant. He always felt that something was wrong. But I can't say. The wrong feeling came from these Warcraft, who knew it was a doomed situation, but flocked to die. Originally, Tian thought that this was the demon cultivation testing his strength, but if it was for this, wouldn't the demon world pay too much? At one moment, Tian suddenly found that the so-called magic light shining round ball in the sky was rapidly flying down the city. A feeling of extreme danger arises spontaneously. It was the first time Tian had such intuition. Go! He didn't have time to say more. He only drank loudly, and then he performed a great move to move away from the city. The rest of Da Nang did not neglect it. When Tian drank this word, he also directly broke through the siege of many Warcraft and moved out in a flash. These heavenly palace realm powers have different blinking directions. They are all determined according to the surrounding Warcraft at that time. The blinking direction is where the Warcraft is thin. No one expected that when their body shape just disappeared in the magic inflammation city, the fast-falling white ball exploded, just like a chain reaction. The whole magic inflammation city exploded together. The city of Nuade exploded and flew into the air. The airwaves formed covered the whole sky. The terrible explosion power made the earth tremble violently and the sky tremble violently. In the terrorist explosion, the Warcraft still in the middle of the sky turned into a piece of powder, like the falling blood rain in the sky, which had completely disappeared and turned into a huge bottomless pit. On a high mountain 30,000 miles away from the Magic Fire City, Tian Shenian covered the original location of the Magic Fire City. When he saw the huge pit, it was as deep as a Tian King, and his heart trembled. With such great power, even if they are powerful in the Heavenly Palace, if they don't evacuate in time, I'm afraid they will suffer heavy losses. The lethality caused by this kind of explosion has exceeded the range that Tiangong can bear. The magic city of Nuada was built of countless large stones, but within the scope of the explosion, there was no complete stone, all turned into stone powder, and even burned to pieces in the terrible high temperature of the explosion. Countless Warcraft can't see a complete body, all turned into blood. The details of the demon family are indeed unfathomable. The explosion of the Magic Fire City did not find any clue from the memory of the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor. It seems that even if those two were the Devil Emperor, they could not master this absolute secret. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor is really terrible. Many thoughts in Yi Tian's mind flashed by. His attention shifted from the ruins of the Tian King of the Magic Fire City and began to look for the other 7 Tiangong realm powers who came with him. Under the cover of divine thoughts, he soon found Morong Jun, followed by Lingming Stone Monkey. Next, I found Yen Yunyang and Yen Zhongkai together. Tan Suching was the nearest one, less than 50,000 li. Yu Yen is adjacent to Huasu, with a distance of more than 100,000 li. Without exception, all of these people are not invisible. They are exposed in the demon world as they are. They all seem to be in shock. They are looking at the bottomless pit in the demon burning city. From this, we can see how powerful the explosion of Magic Burning City is. In this case, Yi Tian couldn't help but move in his heart and hurry to perform the hidden killing technique again. Sure enough, as he expected, after 2 attempts, he couldn't show his hidden killing skill. I think Huashu and others are the same as themselves. When Yi Tiangang wanted to gather the people together, suddenly there was a black air all around, the sky quickly darkened, and the coverage of his mind was greatly shortened. It turned out that black gas was rapidly emitted from the demon world, as if there was another feeling in the fog sea. When the fog was together, Yi Tian moved his body, performed a large movement, and moved towards Tan Suching's position. Tan Suching was closest to him, and the magic gas suddenly gushed out, which made Yi Tian have a very bad feeling. It seems that these magic gases are linked with the previous big explosion in Magic Fire City, and the time is so close to each other. Therefore, Yi Tian first met with Tan Suching, the nearest one, and then gathered with other Tiangong realms. Even the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor don't know the situation of the Devil World. It can be seen that the layout of the Black Mountain Devil Emperor is deep. In particular, there is an ancient Devil Emperor from the Fairy World and the Devil World, who can compete with the Flint Emperor. Even if he dies and comes back to life, his knowledge is not comparable to that of ordinary spiritual friars. Maybe all this has something to do with the ancient Demon Emperor. As long as he was involved with the terrible devil, Yi Tian dared not despise him anymore. The mind locked Tan Suching. As soon as Yi Tian's body appeared in the sky, he felt a flash of black light and hit himself with a big black pestle. Yi Tian's figure flashed, and he was tens of feet away in an instant. He had just dodged his figure, and the huge demon subduing pestle had been from the place he had set up before. This attack was as swift and violent as the stick blow of the spirit monkey stone monkey.
Palace Master, are you all right? Tan Suching, who was beside Yi Tian, asked with concern.
Yi Tian narrowed his eyes slightly, looked ahead, and shook his head gently.
This trick can't help me. All the 5 demons are killed.
While talking, I saw several black lights flashing around, and 5 demons with a strong breath had surrounded them in the middle.
Make a quick decision, and then support others.
Yi Tian sent a message to Tan Suching's mind, saying that within the sensing range of their mind, it has been observed that the Tiangong realm powers in other places have been attacked by magic cultivation, and the number of magic cultivation is far more than that of the Tiangong realm powers in the Maitreya Palace. Judging from each other's skills, they should all be the devil cultivation that reaches the realm of the Devil Emperor. However, these conditions were only observed.
With the rapid spread of the magic fog, the situation in the faraway Tiangong environment Danning could not be sensed.
Moreover, looking at the surging posture of the magic fog, the sensing range of the divine mind is constantly compressed, and it should be difficult to sense it near some places soon. There are 5 powerful demons on Yi Tian's side, and they are hundreds of feet away from Yi Tian. After these 5 demons appeared, they didn't attack immediately, but formed an encirclement trend and wanted to trap Yi Tian inside. At this distance, Yi Tian wants to leave in an instant. He should have a chance, but he doesn't.
Evil cultivation is extremely strange.
It should be impossible to make such a low-level mistake. It can't be said that the other party has any conspiracy, because Yi Tian feels that he has been in a passive situation since he entered the demon world. 5 powerful magic cultivation in 5 directions, even if you use mountain and river seal, you can't catch it all at once.
As soon as Yi Tianlu pondered, he said to Tan Suching again, and the 2 quickly flew into the air.
The body shape here just moved, and the 5 demons shot almost at the same time. 5 black lights came out of their hands, directly into the air, making a roaring sound, sealing the space up, down, left and right, and one of them flew towards the direction of Yi Tian.
Yi Tianling snorted and his figure flashed.
He had disappeared from his place. This time, he has not recovered his stealth ability, but used the spirit wing magic power. Although the Tian Lingji is a small move, it is not as long as the large move, but there is an obvious deficiency between the large move and the Tian Lingji magic power, that is, the use of the large move requires a short startup time.
The advantage of Tian Lingji is that the startup time can be ignored. As long as the heavenly wing is won, you can reach the locked position of Yi Tian's mind in an instant. None of the 5 magicians expected Yi Tian to disappear out of thin air in the fierce attack.
These people also had extremely rich combat experience.
Almost in an instant, they changed their positions and left their original position. However, one of the demons didn't expect.
Even if he changed his position, a cold hum came from behind when he just stood firm. The demon Shio was shocked, and his momentum burst out and wanted to leave where he was. But when he was just moving, a sword light poured down like a water curtain and cut on the demon head with black chi.
Kaka, kaka.
Like a storm, the sound of clicking sounded continuously. At the moment of sword-lightened body, the demon Shio suddenly condensed a layer of thick armor made of magic chi. The speed of condensation is really unimaginable.
Even Yi Tian was secretly surprised. It seems that he is the top figure in the demon world.
The Demon Emperor has rich combat experience and crystal of action, which is rare even among many strong people in the Maitreya Palace.
However, Yi Tian's cultivation at this time is not as weak as before.
Although the speed of demon cultivation condensing demon chi armor is fast, it is broken layer by layer in an instant under the irresistible sword chi.
And Yi Tian's body followed the devil like a shadow.
Came after a series of crisp armor breaking sounds, there was a loud sound much louder than before. It was Yi Tian's half-immortal soldier's flying sword that cut through layers of chi armor, and finally cut it on Demon Shio's body, which made a sound of violent collision with his physical armor. The Demon Shio was cut by Yi Tian's sword, and his body suddenly deepened. With the sharpness of the half-immortal soldier's flying sword and Yi Tian's full use of magic, he directly cut the magic armor on the demon and cut it on the Demon Shio's back. If Yi Tian's attack at ordinary times, it is certain that the ordinary devil cultivation has been cut in half.
The weaker devil cultivation may explode all over and turn into countless pieces of meat.
But this demon cultivation not only reacted quickly, but also had a very strong body. Even with such a degree of attack, Tian felt that he had only made the other party suffer some trauma. The demon Xiu didn't know that Tian was so strong until this time, and his contempt suddenly stopped. A dark magic gun in his hand has stabbed Tian behind him. Tian's body and mind gave way slightly, gestured, and many white lights flew out to cover the position of the devil cultivation. The magician quickly withdrew his gun, conjured up a black gun curtain and swept the white light.
This action is not fast, extremely fast. When the demon repair is ready to seal Tian's attack and take bloody revenge on Tian, he is stunned to find that those white lights have not been swept by his own magic gun, but have disappeared out of thin air. At the same time, he found that he had been surrounded by 6 sword curtains. The sword curtain moves rapidly from 6 directions. The sword curtain shrinks up, down, front, back, left and right at the same time, emitting an extremely dangerous smell. With the insight of this demon cultivation, without having to fight with the sword screen, I have judged from the terrible smell emitted from the sword screen that this sword screen is definitely not what I can compete with. Or careless. The demon Xiu was so surprised that he shouted at the other demons, "Help me!" On the surface, it seems that Tian has been fighting with this devil for a long time, but they are very fast. A series of moves are just between lightning and stone. Among the other 4 magic fixes, 1 magic fix is flying towards Tansuching, while the other 3 magic fixes are flying towards Tian. Although the speed seems very fast, the 3 magic practitioners didn't try their best. It was in such a situation that the magic practitioner's back was hurt by Tian. Then Tian was trapped in the Domitian sword array. The flying swords of Dami Heavenly Sword Array are of high quality and have reached the level of half-immortal soldiers. If Tian urged him with all his strength, the demon Xiu trapped in the sword array must have been torn apart and cut into meat and mud by the sword array. However, it is not Tian's purpose to kill this demon only. His purpose is to make a quick decision. He should not only solve the battle quickly, but also not make a demon fix escape. Therefore, this sword array is his bait to catch the other demons. Sure enough, those demons didn't think Tian was so worried.
When the demon Xiu trapped in the sword array shouted for help, the 3 demons suddenly burst into shape, waved their magic tools and flashed at Tian. If you break the sword array alone, those demons are not sure. They will break it in a moment. If you break it a little slower, it is likely that the demons trapped in the sword array will fall. When attacking Tian, no matter whether he can succeed or not, in the face of the joint attack of the 3 demon emperors, I'm afraid no matter how powerful the Tiangong realm can be, he can't be distracted to drive the sword array. In this case, as long as the demon Xiu in the sword array is not a pig, he can naturally break the terrible sword array. This idea is very good. They strive for ideas, and their execution is also very strong. The attack is in place. Tian has been shrouded in the attack range in an instant. However, they did not expect to face Tian. They don't know Tian, let alone the various magical powers and means that Tian has. Suppress. When those people entered the range of 60 feet on Friday, Tian suddenly shouted, and the mountains and rivers suddenly appeared in the sky. Then he put them within the range of 40 or 50 mu and covered all the 3 demons. After Tianjin entered the heavenly palace, he could push the seal to 100 acres, but that was the limit. Up to now, Tian doesn't want to expose all the power of the mountain and river seal. It's his limit to use the mountain and river seal. If it's not necessary, he still has to try his best to hide all the power of the mountain and river seal before meeting the Heishan Emperor or the ancient demon emperor. Even so, the mountain and river seals within 40 or 50 mu are enough. Under the suppression of strong gravity field, including the demon Xiu and Dami Tianjin array, all 4 demons can't move. If it is the mountain and river seal of prevention, its suppression ability is slightly worse, which can interfere with those powerful demon emperors to a great extent, but the real fairy mountain and river seal is much more powerful than the imitation. Tian did not neglect his actions. As soon as the mountains and rivers were printed, the sword light in his hand flashed. Between the swords, he had killed all 4 powerful demons, and even the magic tools they used in Shumi Ring were included in his bag. Palace Master. At this time, Tan Suching moved and came to Yi Tian. The demon Xiao who attacked him was just succeeded by Yi Tian.
Tan Suching took advantage of the other party's moment of stupidity to kill the demon Xiao. He didn't even use the Tian Luo net in his hand.
His mind is the same as that of Yi Tian. The demons in front of him seem powerful, but the demons that haven't appeared are the real enemies.
Try to hide it temporarily without exposing the Tian Luo net. Follow me.
Yi Tian put away the mountain and river seal and 32 flying swords, said to Tan Suching, stretched out his hand and shook Tan Suching's hand.
They both performed a great move and left.
Because the evil spirit was too heavy at this time, and the situation in the demon world was very strange. In order to avoid accidents in the big move, they left hand in hand in a hurry.
Back! Yi Tian flew directly to Morong Jun's position with the position he had detected before.
The four powerful Mingxiu who surrounded Morong Jun launched several terrorist attacks on him. Although Morong Jun was in a hurry, he failed to play. At this time, Yi Tian and Tan Suching suddenly appeared in a position thousands of feet away from the battlefield. One of the four demons immediately shouted. Then the four demons didn't allow Yi Tian and Tan Suching to get close at all, so they disappeared from their original place in a flash.
Even abandoned Morong Jun directly. Nothing? Nothing.
Yi Tian glanced at Morong Jun and asked, and Morong Jun immediately answered. Thanks to the palace master's warning at the time of the explosion, otherwise something might happen.
Yi Tian nodded slightly, took Tan Suching in one hand and Morong Jun in the other, and left again.
This time, they went to the location of the single Lingming stone monkey.
The others are far away.
Yan Yunyang and Yan Zhongkai are together and take care of each other, as are Hua Su and Yu Yan.
Yi Tian is not too worried.
However, when Yi Tian showed up again, he didn't see the figure of Lingming stone monkey. Yes, according to my memory, this is the location of Lingming stone monkey. He was besieged by 3 demons.
However, not long after that, not only did the Lingming stone monkey lose its whereabouts, but even the 3 demons disappeared. Don't be too far apart. This situation is indeed somewhat abnormal.
With Yi Tian's strong mind, when the evil spirit has become extremely strong, the mind covers only about 1,000 miles. If you want to find the whereabouts of Lingming stone monkey as soon as possible, you can only find it separately, so the shrinking area can be larger.
Hearing Yi Tian's orders, Tan Suching and Morong Jun immediately looked for a direction and flew to the distance.
While flying, they began to look for their thoughts. The farther they fly, the greater the distance they can detect, and the scope of the search continues to expand.
Yi Tian also chose a tripartite direction and searched far away.
It was not until they had searched for a distance of more than 200 miles that they flew back to the place they had just separated. If the 3 of them continue to search, I'm afraid their contact with each other might be interrupted.
Don't look for it, contact the messenger. Yi Tian saw their faces. He didn't need to ask. He also knew what the result was. Not only did he not find the Lingmingshi monkey, he might not even find a clue.
Lingming stone monkey can persist in robbing the embers for 3 years.
Yi Tian will never believe that he fell.
After all, among all the great friars in the Heavenly Palace, Lingming stone monkey was the first to become a great power in the Heavenly Palace, and his cultivation is unfathomable.
The time when he entered the Heavenly Palace was even far earlier than Huashu. Lingming, where are you? Report the position quickly.
Yi Tian said, gestured, took out a messenger and sent the message.
Go. Without waiting for Lingmingshi monkey to reply, Yi Tian once again pulled Morong Jun and Tan Suching's hands away. He couldn't wait here for Lingmingshi monkey's news. There are 4 companions whose situation is unknown now. Kill. When the 3 men appeared again, they could see Yan Yunyang and Yan Zhongkai fighting back to back with the 4 demons. Yi Tian immediately shouted.
The mountain and river seal in his hand had suddenly turned into a streamer and went to the 2 magic repair masks on Yan Zhongkai's side. However, as soon as Yi Tian gang appeared, the 4 demons immediately floated back and wanted to take the road.
On the mace.
Yi Tian shouted again and urged with all his strength. The speed of mountain and river seal suddenly increased, faster than streamer, and flew to the top of the 2 demons.
After getting Yi Tian's order, Tan Suqing and Yen Yunyang naturally know what Yi Tian means. The mace is to let them use immortal weapons. Although Tan Suqing and Yen Yunyang don't know why Yi Tian changed their mind, they have habitually obeyed Yi Tian's orders. As soon as they said this, they immediately began to act. Yen Yunyang gestured, and Hou Yi's bow and arrow appeared in her hand in an instant. Then she put her sword on the string and shot hard at an escaped demon Xiao. Tan Suqing's action was faster than Yen Yunyang's. The white ball made by Tian Luonet had been held in his hand at any time. As soon as Yi Tian's order was issued, Tian Luonet turned into a white light and suddenly shot out of his hand. Whether it's Tian Luonet or Hou Yi's bow, no matter what kind of immortal weapon it is, the power it can produce in the hands of Yen Yunyang and Tan Suqing, two great monks in Tiangong realm, is no longer comparable to that of before or when they were great monks in Yupu realm. Hou Yi's bow burst out a terrible breath, as if he could destroy the sky and the earth under an arrow. He shot at the demon Xiao. The demon Xiao was also alert, and his body sank suddenly. However, how can the speed of demon cultivation be faster than Hou Yi's arrow as an immortal weapon? Hou Yi's arrow followed the figure of demon Xiao in the air. Suddenly, he nodded in the air, and the black light flashed into the body of demon Xiao. With the sound of bang, although the devil Xiao had reached the realm of the devil emperor, he was still shot into pieces and turned into a piece of meat under the power of an arrow from Hou Yi's bow. After the Tian Luonet was driven, its combat effectiveness appeared to be much milder. After being sacrificed by Tan Suqing, his speed was even faster. Later, Yi Arrow saw a flash of light. The demon monk who had escaped to a distance was directly trapped by Tian Luonet. All this happened in a moment. From the appearance of Yi Tian and three people to the head of all four powerful demon cultivation, it was almost completed at the same time. Are you all right? Yi Tian put away the mountain and river seal. Although he didn't see any injuries on Yen Yunyang and Yen Zhongkai, as the leader of the Mithraea palace, he asked with concern. It's all right, but the mind is suppressed. This demon world is really not an easy place. Yen Zhongkai just shook his head, but Yen Yunyang said with a sweep of her hair. Have you ever seen Ling Ming? Up to now, the messenger sent by Yi Tian is still like a clay ox into the sea without half a response. Yi Tian can't help asking directly. Yen Yunyang and Yen Zhongkai shook their heads at the same time. Yen Zhongkai said, after leaving the magic fire city, Zheng Xinyan sensed his position. The palace masters should have searched it. Later, his Xinyan was suppressed and could not feel so far away. He didn't see his shadow again. Even if Ling Ming Stone Monkey is in a bad situation, even on the way of being chased, he has enough time to respond to his own messenger. What's more, as a great power in the heavenly palace, it's not so difficult to get rid of demon cultivation, even if it's pursued by several demon emperors. It's like those demons who escaped under their own eyes before. If they didn't have extremely powerful immortal tools in their hands and killed several demons off guard, I'm afraid they wouldn't be so easy to succeed. Is it? An idea flashed in Yi Tian's mind. He quickly took out a messenger again, said a word casually, and directly urged him to go out. Yunyang, let's see if you have received my message, then Yi Tian can ask Yen Yunyang. This message was sent to the opposite Yen Yunyang. Yen Yunyang nodded slightly and paid attention to the messenger in Xumi Ring, but there was still no movement after waiting for a few seconds. It doesn't take such a long time for the messenger to send and receive at any time. By this time, Yi Tian was completely sure that his messenger had failed in the demon world. No wonder Ling Mingxi Monkey didn't return his message later. He must have not received his own messenger. It's even possible that he didn't receive the messenger he sent himself. I already know what's going on here, but Ling Ming Stone Monkey has no experimental object, and maybe he sent more than one messenger. It's likely that he sent it back to Huashu, but he didn't receive it either. In this way, no matter what the situation of Ling Ming Stone Monkey is now, it must be very anxious. Go find Huasu and Yu Yan. Thinking so, Yi Tian whispered. However, at this time, the people had not had time to hand in hand to jointly perform the great movement, but suddenly, the surrounding scenery changed. Originally, there was dark magic chi all around. It kept rolling and surging, boundless, as if heaven and earth were full of magic chi. At this time,
the evil spirit still exists in all directions, but it is not that empty existence. Countless black pavilions suddenly appear in the black magic gas, like an endless city, giving people such a real feeling.
That feeling is like a mirage in front of everyone.
But the mirage only appears in one direction, and the scene in front of us appears in all directions at the same time.
Tian and others were stunned to find that they seemed to be in this mirage.
Under the feet of a large space, full of all kinds of evil architectural communities.
Will it explode again?
Yen Yunyang saw such a situation, and immediately thought of the situation that in the Magic Inflammation City, all the huge Magic Inflammation City exploded and turned into a huge Tiancong.
She couldn't help asking with worry. It should not be. The previous explosion should be related to the magic light shining round ball.
Now there is no such round ball here, and these architectural communities do not really exist.
It is likely to be a kind of fantasy.
Tian said as he unfolded his open-source eye to observe. However, to his surprise, these architectural communities still exist under the light of the open-source eye.
It doesn't seem to match the fantasy you judge.
But Tian still believes that these architectural communities must be a mirage, no doubt, but this mirage is very special.
The boundless architectural community in all directions can't see the edge at a glance.
Even under the mental induction of thousands of miles, we can't see where the edge is.
Moreover, more importantly, Tian did not find any magic cultivation in these architectural communities.
Pay attention to protection, hand in hand, perform the great movement, and go to the place where Hua Su and Yu Yan are. There are no flaws found.
Tian simply doesn't continue to investigate. Lingming Stone Monkey can't be found.
Now the most important thing is to meet Hua Su and Yu Yan. With Tian's order, Yen Yunyang, Yen Zhongkai, Tan Suqing and Mu Rongjuan immediately followed one another, holding hands. Tian was in the middle, with Tan Suqing in his left hand and Yen Zhongkai in his right hand. According to the previously observed position of Yu Yan and Hua Su, Tian moved his body and moved away towards the distance, while the others pulled in order according to Tian's strength and performed the blinking technique. The distance of tens of thousands of miles is just a big move for Tian, who is a great power in the Heavenly Palace. According to common sense, no matter whether Hua Su and Yu Yan are there or not, Tian will definitely reach the place he wants to go this time. However, common sense is common sense after all.
Sometimes, reality doesn't play cards according to reason.
When Tian and others appeared again and saw the surrounding scene, these great monks in the Heavenly Palace, including Tian, couldn't help but show a dignified color on their faces. They suddenly found that their position was still above the boundless architectural community after such a long-distance movement. However, the building community in the current location seems to have changed compared with the building community in the previous location. From this point, it can be seen that it should have changed to another location. This is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that there is no Hua Su, no Yu Yan and no demon cultivation here. Even after arriving here, Tian has lost his judgment on the position of Hua Su and Yu Yan. They should have been in this position, but they are no longer here. Where can they be? This environment is so big that it is still endless after flying tens of thousands of miles.
Tian finally has a further understanding of the demon world.
At this time, he secretly congratulated himself. Fortunately, he insisted on entering the demon world until he entered the Heavenly Palace. If he was as big as before and regarded the demon world as the underworld, he could say that the other monks entered such a terrible demon world before entering the Heavenly Palace.
The danger they faced should be enough to make them fall. It doesn't mean that there is a mountain and river seal that can suppress the demon cultivation. The strangeness of the demon world is the danger like the Big Bang of the Magic Fire City, which is different from the situation that even the demon cultivation can't find the location. Terran, you will pay a heavy price for your arrogance and stupidity. The devil's world is invincible. You ants want to show off their power in the devil's world, so stay here forever. At this time, a vicious voice suddenly sounded in everyone's ears, which seemed to come from all directions. It is impossible to find the specific source of the sound. This situation made Tian think of the voice of the Ming Emperor in the fog sea of the Ming family. Now that your top Terran strongman has been trapped here, the strongman of the demon family should enter the Earth Star. The Emperor has been able to imagine the destruction of the Earth Star. The voice sounded again, followed by a cold laugh. Black Mountain Demon Emperor?
Yi Tian looked at the sky and said loudly, I will smash your demon world to pieces.
You wait. Okay, I'll wait. Ha ha ha. The voice finished, then it was silent and didn't say a word again. Yes, it should be the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. The reason why Yi Tian asked was to confirm whether this person is the Demon Emperor.
Although he could not see the shadow of the Black Mountain Devil, he felt that the voice was familiar. The voice of the Black Mountain Devil found in the ghost of the Shadowless Devil was generally like this.
Palace Master, I think this should be an extremely clever magic array field. Maybe some buildings are the eye of the array. Why don't we destroy some of those buildings together to see if we can find some flaws? Morong Jun, who has always observed the architectural community, suddenly said.
Yi Tian also took back his eyes from the architectural community, shook his head and said, You're right. This field is an extremely brilliant magic array field, and this magic array field is definitely not owned by the demon world or the spirit world. It must come from the fairy world. The ancient demon emperor learned some field skills of the fairy world and used them here. But these building communities are illusions.
You can't destroy them. If you don't believe it, try it.
I guess it's not true. A field is only trapped in the array and does not have the characteristics of killing the array. Otherwise, the demon world should have started killing the array long ago.
Then I'll try. Morong Jun said and wanted to fly down. Yi Tian made a gesture, and a magic force entangled Morong Jun and stopped his body. Morong Jun, do you really want to try?
If I guess well, as long as you go, you will be lost in the vast illusion and can no longer come out. When you move a lot in advance, if we didn't hold hands, you would have been separated by now.
Is it really so serious? Morong Jun was shocked, stopped and looked suspiciously at the boundless architectural community.
Yi Tian pointed to several positions in the distance one by one. Have you noticed that here? Here? There, the architectural communities in these locations are exactly the same, but they are not so conspicuous among different architectural communities. If they are copied and pasted in general, this is a mirror illusion in the field illusion. According to the extension of this mirror illusion, they can be mirrored and copied indefinitely, even if they spend their whole life, they can't go out. This is the horror of the mirror magic array.
So we'll never get out of this illusion? Yan Zhongkai asked solemnly.
Yi Tian smiled and said, if you can't see through the friars in this field, if you don't have an extremely special opportunity, you will always be trapped in it and can't get out. However, today, the demon monk trapped us in it, and I happen to be able to break this illusion. Naturally, there's no problem.
Then there will be no worry. Hearing Yi Tian's words, Yan Yunyang immediately looked relaxed.
In her heart, as long as Yi Tian said it could work, it would certainly work.
It's not too late. Please stop and follow my direction. Don't go wrong.
Yi Tian spoke and gestured, and the cold little mirror appeared in his hand. Under the urging of mana, the small mirror sent out a beam of cold light directly into the distance. However, what makes people feel strange is that this cold light should have spread in a straight line, but in the illusion of this building complex, the light is disorderly, twisted into a mess in the air, turning east and west, overlapping and disorderly. It seems to be smearing freely in the sky with a white brush and smearing all the way to the distance.
Seeing these messy light masses, Yi Tian was more determined.
This dreamland field is similar to the 9-in enchanting field of Mingxiu, but it is better than it in the degree of subtlety. The illusion of this architectural community is more desperate than the gray everywhere in the 9-in enchanting field.
Moreover, this architectural community is more confusing.
If the monks trapped in it try to locate their position according to the appearance of those architectural communities, the result will never be able to go out of the illusion. Unless someone takes the initiative to withdraw from the fantasy field.
How could this happen?
How insane it is to arrange such a collapsing fantasy field.
Tan Suching looked at the messy light and said faintly.
These great abilities to practice in the heavenly palace are also extremely rich in various experiences. Although they may lack the attainments of the way of the field, they do not lack basic common sense. From this situation, they can naturally see that this is a mixed and overlapping fantasy field. If they travel in a straight line as they think, they will always become a point in this field, and they will never stop walking in the field, and the final outcome is trapped and dead in it. Well, as long as we don't collapse, when we go out, it's time for them to collapse. Tian said with a smile, although it looks light and indifferent. But his heart was wondering whether Hua Su, Yu Yan and Ling Ming Stone Monkey were trapped in this field. If you do, the possibility of meeting them is almost zero. And they are not very likely to get out of the illusion by themselves. But fortunately, this is only a fantasy, not a killing array. If you are just trapped in it, there should be no danger for the time being. Follow closely, don't go in the wrong direction, and hold hands. Tian said, and continued to urge the magic weapon of the small mirror to go forward along the front of the light. Tian, holding a small mirror in one hand and Tan Suching closely behind him in the other, walked along the light. His mind was focused on the way to crack the fantasy field, but he didn't realize that Tan Suching had been holding her hand from beginning to end. Later, Yen Yunyang, Yen Zhongkai and Morangjun. The 5 people meandered like greedy snakes. Sometimes they walked along the light. It was clear that Tian was just ahead, but he had lost his trace in sight. In this case, everyone secretly guessed that this is the so-called folding space. What you see in the line of sight is completely different from the actual space. Maybe what you see is only a small space, but in fact it is multi-space folding. In such a space, few people will not get lost. As Tian moves forward step by step, the light emitted by the small mirror is also shorter, but fortunately, these people are as one and have not been affected much. However, these people led by Tian kept moving forward along the light, sometimes like pulling a mill, repeatedly turning around, sometimes wearing around, and then walking back, sometimes left and right, disorganized, and looking inexplicable. This way of walking makes people sigh in their hearts. If a slightly normal monk would not do this way, he may not be able to think of using light to guide the way forward. The palace leader is the palace leader. He definitely has extraordinary wisdom. However, these people didn't know that the reason why Tian could see through this field so quickly was that he was trapped in the 9 ecstasy field in the dark fog. If Morong Chanshan didn't give advice at that time, Tian might have been trapped inside for a long time. It was precisely because of the foundation of that time that Tian Kai easily connected the two and began to crack them according to the method at that time. With the continuous shortening of Tian's short light, the party walked carefully along the light, while the light at the other end continued to extend in the process, opening up a new path. Tian's cultivation also urges the magic weapon of the small mirror. The light that can be illuminated should be a very long distance. At this time, the naked eye can see the end of the other end, which shows how complex the road guided by the light is. After more than 3 hours of fast walking, the people finally got out of the complex light circle, and the light of the small mirror in front was no longer bent, but became a straight line. Stop! Tian, who was about to reach the end of the straight line, suddenly stopped, gestured to the air and said loudly. The end of the straight line seems to be an endless architectural community, but it is a scene seen by ordinary naked eyes, and Tian always keeps his eyes on the source sky and keeps observing the situation everywhere in the whole process. In the demon world, even if they have practiced in the heavenly palace, there is an ancient demon emperor in the demon world after all, which is the devil who comes back from the fairy world. As long as one is careless, it is likely to make these people fall into an irreparable situation. At this time, Tian saw that there was an invisible barrier in front of him in the dreamland that seemed to have not changed at all. This invisible barrier can be seen as a transparent field shield, but it can't be seen by the naked eye. The naked eye can see that the shield is nothing, and the response in the field of vision is still the boundless architectural community. It is extremely confusing. But Tian not only saw the shield of the field, but also saw that there were countless demons surrounded by black fog outside the shield, blocking the front from rain and wind. Each demon clan was very tall, holding a strong bow in their hands, and the thick arrows were cold and aimed at their position. An arrow is not very good, but the number of demon shio is very large. The arrow tips of countless black arrows are all aligned with their positions. It can be imagined that once they go out of the field, they will surely encounter a stormy arrow attack. But Tian is not afraid. The reason why he stayed in front of the field shield and observed the situation outside was to get more information. The demon world should not just think about how they can use these arrows to make their own heavenly palace.
Then why does the other party still do this? What's strange about these arrows? They have powerful lethality that the heart can't know yet? Or is there any chain reaction in the attack of strong bow, mixed with other attacks? Because it is not so easy to know the demon world, Tian will no longer act recklessly.
We must attach great importance to those demon cultivation who look very rough.
In fact, ruggedness is just their appearance.
These demons are still very cunning.
Tian, unexpectedly, you can come here and see through this field. The Emperor believes that this field can't stop you,
but you can try to come out and believe that the demon world will give you a great surprise, haha.
There was another burst of laughter in the sky. Tian Yuan looked out of the field, hoping to find out the location of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor from the dense crowd of demon practitioners. Unfortunately, he failed to do so. At this time, Tian didn't worry and went out of the field. Lingming Stone Monkey, Huashu, and Yu Yan are not idle people.
Maybe they are hard to knock a group of powerful demon emperors, or their strength is not caught.
But if you want to save your life in the demon world, the problem should not be big. Unless the ancient devil did it himself, maybe they would be in some danger.
According to the result of this speculation, no one knows what kind of accomplishments the ancient demon emperor has so far, and even the shadowless demon emperor doesn't know.
If the ancient demon emperor was really so strong, or there was no restriction, he should have been able to appear by now, without sacrificing so many warcraft and destroying a huge magic burning city to deal with the few 8 people on his side. Even if the ancient demon emperor is temporarily inconvenient to do so, the demon world may not put all its eggs in one basket.
When the ancient demon emperor can do it. From this, Tian can infer that the ancient devil should not be able to make a move easily, and the latter has no ability to make a move.
Since Lingming Stone Monkey has no inevitable danger, Tian's heart naturally calms down.
At present, there is a more important thing to do than get out of this dreamland field, that is, how to restore their own hidden killing skills.
This is not the first time Tian has experienced this kind of hidden killing technique.
The last time he was in the time and spirit domain, he was broken by the powder sprinkled by the 8 sections.
But obviously, this time, the root of invisibility is completely different from the last time. And the result is the same.
While observing the external situation, Tian checked his body. In order to find out the reason for the broken hidden killing, the most fundamental reason is to start from himself. He calmed down. Yen Yunyang and others naturally knew that Tian must have his own reason. Looking at his thoughtful look, no one bothered him. At the time of the capital, watch all directions with vigilance.
If there is anything wrong, you can do it at any time.
Only Tan Suching, who always held hands with Tian, always looked absent-minded. Although she didn't know how many years she had practiced, she was naturally beautiful and looked very beautiful. In addition, a wisp of red glow appeared on her cheeks at this time, showing a somewhat shy appearance.
Unfortunately, everyone is observing the enemy situation, and Tian is giving himself a physical examination, and he doesn't notice this woman's situation.
To check the body, you can't use mana to sense meridians and dantian.
In addition, you can observe what's wrong with your body through the source sky eye.
The mana runs in the elixir field.
Tian feels it carefully.
There is no problem from the meridians to the elixir field, and then to even a small vein. The mana runs as usual. However, after a while, under the irradiation of Yuan Tianyan, he found that there were some differences in his body. This difference is not in the body, nor between the viscera, but on the skin between your chest and abdomen. His skin was originally extremely white and smooth, but now his eyes saw through the heavy armor that there was a ferocious pattern on his white skin.
It looks like a demon with tusks.
The devil's head is very clear and ferocious. It seems to grow on the skin, but it is not itchy. If it is not irradiated through the eyes of the source sky, Tian can't find the existence of the devil's head pattern unless he takes a bath.
Is it yourself? Or is everyone like this? Is it the stealth failure caused by this demon head pattern, or is there another reason?
Looking at the devil's head pattern on his chest, Tian drew a question mark in his heart. If you want to know the result, you can only see if there is a pattern of devil's head on the chest of other great friars in Tiangongjing who have also lost their invisible magic power. Thinking so, he turned back and looked at the Tiangongjing denying behind him. When he saw Tan Suching behind him, Tian could not help but take back his eyes and turn to look behind Tan Suching. It was Yin Yunyang. However, from his present angle, he can only see Yin Yunyang's arm. Because all the way forward is in a row, moving forward in turn. Here, it is the last straight line. Naturally, these great monks in the heavenly palace are also in a line. Tian wants to cross one and look at the one behind, unless he uses the source eye of heaven or uses the divine mind to check. In this way, it must be inconvenient for two female nuns to follow him. After a little meditation, he whispered to several people behind him, "Guys, just now I looked for the reason why my invisibility was broken and found that there was a black devil head pattern on my chest. You can check it by yourself through your mind to see if it is the same as me." Hearing the speech, the people behind them did not dare to neglect it. They began to look inside. Palace leader, my chest. My chest too. A moment later, Tan Suching whispered slightly shyly. Palace master, I also have it on my chest. Yen Yunyang's answer seemed generous. Palace master, it's strange that there is a ferocious devil on my chest. Mine too. Then Morongjun and Yin Zhongkai also whispered back to Tian. In this way, the invisibility was broken because of the devil's head pattern on the chest. Let me think about the way to solve it. By this time, Tian had been able to determine the reason why invisibility was forced. The formation of the devil's head pattern is mostly caused by the magic light shining round bead. Thinking so, Tian began to observe the demon head more carefully. Suddenly, although the pattern of the demon head came out of thin air, it didn't seem so abrupt except for its ferocious face. In front of Tian's chest, it appears very natural, without any trace of axe chisel or the characteristics of any lesions, just like a naturally formed birthmark. Even under Tian's induction, there was no other strange smell. Not only is Tian thinking about the solution, but even other great friars in the heavenly palace are also thinking about the solution. At one moment, Yu Yen, the ever-changing demon king, suddenly raised his eyebrows, stroked his chest with a gesture, and immediately cut off the skin printed with the devil's head pattern with a wind blade. Then he closed his chest with mana to prevent blood from flowing out. However, when he looked at his chest again, the sudden of the devil was still clearly visible between the bright red skin and flesh. Yu Yen, it's useless. It's not a way. Even if you scrape off the whole body, this Enron will still be printed on your bones. Tian couldn't help but coagulate for Yu Yen's fierce eyes. This guy was so cruel to himself. No wonder he added the word Demon King after his changes. Then think of other ways. We should try the medicinal wine of cutting bone and washing marrow. Yu Yen said with a slight disappointment. He didn't have this medicinal wine. If he had it, I'm afraid he would immediately sprinkle it on the wound. It's useless. This sudden seems to be born and integrated with the body. Even the medicinal wine for cutting bones and washing marrow is useless. But I've found out the reason why this pattern can restrain invisibility. Tian said in a deep voice. What's the reason? Tan Suching asked hurriedly. Invisibility is a magic power to avoid light, and this thing focuses on magic, so there is a saying that magic light shines. Tian said slowly. Can we say that if we don't know the mark of the demon head, we will no longer be able to use stealth killing? And can the mark of the demon head only inhibit stealth killing? Doesn't it have other side effects on us? Tan Suching said anxiously. I'm checking carefully, but I haven't finished the final inspection. Tan Suching said this, which is what Tian was worried about. He won't be careless at all. He doesn't make it clear, and he's always not down to earth. Ha ha. You stupid Terrans, it's not easy to expect that you can still find the ancient magic light mark. However, don't make unnecessary attempts. This ancient magic light mark can't be removed. Moreover, the longer it takes, it will stimulate your magic, and you will all become a member of our demon world. At this time, the voice that had disappeared for a long time suddenly came out of the sky. In particular, the more you kill,
the faster your magic will be aroused. Then even if you can get out of this field, there are only a few ways. First, you kill crazily. If you have enough skills, you can kill. Then you will become a member of the demon world one day earlier in fear the magic light will be born in the depths of your soul. Under the magic light, you will become the machine of our demon clan. Second, you were killed by us, and let us avenge your slaughter. Third, you live in peace. You let the demon world occupy the whole earth, and then you are demonized bit by bit in boundless pain. That will be a very interesting thing, haha. As he spoke, the voice began to laugh wildly. Black Mountain Demon Emperor, you don't need to be crazy. This little trick can't help us. Hearing the speech, Tian was secretly surprised, but this is not the time to show weakness. Especially he is the backbone of other heavenly palace powers. If he messed up first, he's afraid that others will panic. Ha ha ha. Let's wait and see. It seemed that the voice was very confident. After that, he stopped saying one more word and disappeared. Palace leader, it seems that what the devil said is not true. Do you know if the palace leader has any ideas to crack? At this time, Yin Zhongkai asked in a very dignified voice. Tian replied casually, don't worry, I found a way to deal with it, but it's not necessarily the simplest way. There should be a more effective way. Since I have cleared the devil's head pattern and don't let those demons know, so as to give them a sudden thunder blow. He can only use this kind of words to stabilize the people first. He really can't find Hua Su and others. He leaves the demon world temporarily and goes outside to find a way to solve it before he worries about it. However, as soon as he finished speaking to the crowd, he suddenly remembered a voice in his mind, the Vatican family doesn't lie, but you little guy is not cold and pretending to swear is still cute. Tian was stunned when he heard the speech. All the time, only Taisui spoke in his mind, but the voice was obviously not Taisui's voice. The voice looked very young, but the speech still looked old. What little guy? Where am I young? Yi Tianchen looked into Zumaji and found that Taisui was still sleeping and there was no sign of waking up. Once this guy goes to sleep, he won't wake up anyway. Yi Tian tentatively sent out several voices to call Taisui. Maybe he can get rid of the devil's mark? However, no matter how he shouted, Taisui just didn't wake up. This guy has been like this for several years. It's really worrying. I'm not too old. In fact, we're not strangers. I'm the big dream fancy. I've hypnotized too old for years and turned little chestnuts into one with little chestnuts. Come to see me and I'll teach you the way to remove the magic seal, the voice said with a gentle smile. Hearing such a speech, Yi Tian's eyes showed a thoughtful color, thinking about the reliability of the voice. At this time, the voice rang again in his mind, little guy, don't doubt it anymore. I'm in the cave of your little world. Others should not know this. Hearing this, Yi Tianqin really had no doubt. Other things can be fake, but this one can't. Only you know who you send into this small world. Moreover, after Zio Oshiandi recognized the Lord, no outsider went in and came out of it. They could only go in and out. So, who is inside, and the possibility of being leaked is zero. Since the big dream fancy is a little chestnut, it may be that this man's magic power can crack the mark of the devil's head. Thinking so, Yi Tian turned to several powerful people in the heavenly palace behind him and said, everyone, I have thought of a perfect way to crack it. As for what effect can be achieved, I still need to enter the cave to test it. Please wait a moment. Palace leader, please help yourself. We are here to protect the Dharma. The ever-changing demon king in Yin Zhongkai immediately replied. Hearing Yi Tian's words, these people were immediately determined. Although Yi Tian was young, what he said has not been empty up to now. If he says he can, he's sure he can. When Yi Tian got a response, he no longer took out his magic weapon cave and entered it in a flash. As for this magic weapon cave, once it falls into the hands of demon cultivation, Yi Tian doesn't worry at all. Even if these heavenly palaces can't guard the cave, he can directly pass through the magic weapon cave with the 5 element beads. This is the strength of the 5 element beads. When entering the magic weapon cave, Yi Tian gestured and opened the defense prohibition of the cave gate again.
Then he took out the mustard space meteorite and urged the invisible beads to enter it. The outside world is full of blood, and there is peace in the small world, which has not been affected by the outside.
Master.
Several squires accompanying Yi Tian's father by a stream saw Yi Tian appear and hurriedly got up to salute.
Yi Tian nodded to them and asked his father, "Dad, how's it going? Did you catch it?"
Haha, kill time and let it go after fishing.
It's fun and good. Yi Tian's father said with a smile.
Okay, fishing is quiet. Dad, I won't disturb you if you fish. Yi Tian said that before his father could say anything, he had gone to the magic weapon cave in the distance. However, he was a little strange in his heart.
Did his father have a great dream of Brahma's enlightenment, and even when fishing, he gave birth to compassion, which had never happened before?
In order to avoid wasting time, Yi Tian came to the magic weapon cave and went straight in.
Master, the cicada saw Yi Tian get up and greet him. Yi Tianchao touched her little head and looked at the little chestnut sleeping on one side. From this point of view, little chestnut's performance has always been very similar to that of Big Dream Fancy.
Little fellow, you are the chosen son of the devil-removing guardian.
You will kill countless people in the future. You will kill many evils. Remember to get rid of evil and follow the good. At this time, Yi Tian's mind rang out the previous voice.
Yes, the younger generation will think about it, said Yi Tianshan.
Sit down and listen to me, said the voice again. Yi Tian still sat down.
Up to now, he knows that the great dream fancy may not be as simple as he knew before. The various means he showed may have gone beyond the scope of spiritual friars, and may be at the same level as the Flint Emperor. The voice continued, since ancient times, demons do not stand side by side, and demons are 1 foot high. The magic light shines on the magic power. As the Black Mountain Demon Emperor said, it can demonize the human friars, and there is no empty word. The bead is indeed an ancient magic bead, but I called you to teach you the way to remove the magic seal and break the bead.
Look under little chestnut.
When Yi Tian heard the speech, he really looked at the sleeping little chestnut. Before he could look under the little chestnut turned over and continued to sleep. Where he had just been lying, a pure white and clear yellow bead was prominently exposed. This pearl is called the Buddha's Pearl of the Great Wilderness, which is the bane of the ancient magic pearl. If you use magic power to urge this pearl, the mark of the magic light can be removed naturally under the light of the Buddha. If you don't believe it, try it, the voice continued. At this time, Yi Tian was half suspicious. He immediately motioned and called the yellow ball into his hand. Under the urging of mana, the ball immediately sent out a peaceful yellow light. Yi Tianshan felt the devil's mark on his chest, and impressively found that under the cover of yellow light, the black mark gradually faded, and finally disappeared into invisibility. Seeing such a situation, Yi Tian felt a burst of ecstasy. When he put away his mana, he suddenly felt that his body was shocked and a powerful mana was emitted from his body.
My accomplishments?
Yi Tian himself was also shocked. He found that his cultivation at this time had unknowingly entered the later stage of the Heavenly Palace. He just entered the early stage of the Heavenly Palace realm, but he never thought that he had directly crossed the middle stage of the Heavenly Palace realm and directly entered the later stage. What does the Tao have to do with this Buddha bead? Thinking of this, he hurried to look at the yellow Buddha beads in his hand. At this time, I heard the voice in my mind continue to say, this bead can not only exorcise demons and ward off evil spirits, but also condense the power of famine. All monks in the Heavenly Palace can absorb part of the power of famine when illuminated by this bead. As for how much they absorb, it depends on the fate method. It is unprecedented that you can directly enter the Heavenly Palace in the early stage and later stage of the Heavenly Palace. It can be seen that you have a deep relationship with this bead. Then I'll lend you this bead for the time being, but on one condition: if we are in trouble in the future, you must help. Remember, any monk in the Heavenly Palace can only absorb the power of famine once, which is also the fate. When Yi Tian heard the speech, he nodded slightly and said, I'm so grateful to my predecessors. I swear again that if the Vatican sect is in trouble in the future, I will go through fire and water to help. Well, with you, I'm sure you can do it, but now you have to make it clear that not only the Vatican sect in the spiritual domain, but also the Vatican sect in the fairy world, the voice of the Great Dream Vatican continued.
Ah. Fanzong in the fairy world? I'm afraid I can't help it. You know, I don't even know which side the door of the fairy world is open now. Yi Tian couldn't help laughing bitterly when hearing the big dream fancy talking about the fairy world.
When you know where the door of the fairyland opens, you will save the 99 and 81 difficulties of the Vatican sect, the voice of the Great Dream Vatican sounded again.
It's difficult to get to 9981? Yi Tian asked, is the Vatican going to the west to worship the Buddha and get the scriptures? This is the secret of heaven. We can't disclose it.
Yi Tian asked casually, and the Great Dream Fancy said non-committally.
Yi Tian pondered and asked, since the Vatican sect is in trouble, why don't you save it yourself?
I want to sleep, the voice said lazily and continued, remember, there is not much power left in the Buddhist beads.
You can use it once less. You can do it yourself. Friars whose cultivation level is less than the heavenly palace can't absorb the power of the famine, so don't bother. Well, deal with your affairs. I'm going to sleep.
I hope you'll have passed the robbery when I wake up again.
Master, after I get rid of the magic seal, can the demon repair no? And how to use the ancient Buddhist beads to deal with the ancient magic beads? Yi Tian asked hurriedly.
Unfortunately, he waited for a long time, but he never heard the voice of the Great Dream Vatican again.
However, Yi Tian knows that these are not the key.
He will know it by trying it himself. Yi Tian was very excited to get such a treasure as Hongwang Fanju. He touched the little head of the cicada and said, change the little chestnut into a better futon, which should be warm in winter and cool in summer, comfortable and soft.
I also lack such a futon, said little chestnut, pointing to his broken futon. Ask for those squires.
Yi Tian hurried out of the cave. The mind covered the small world. After seeing Ningyao, Qi Luo, Ir and his mother walking hundreds of miles away, he urged the 5 element beads to leave the small world. Back in the magic weapon cave, Yi Tian collected the mustard space meteorite into the Dantian again, and then made a gesture to open the prohibition of the cave gate.
Palace Master, how's the experiment going?
The moment the ban was opened, people outside immediately sensed it, and Yen Zhongkai immediately sent a voice to inquire.
The experiment has been successful. Yen Yunyang and Tan Suqing have entered the cave.
Yi Tian didn't go out of the cave, but said directly in the cave. Just now, when the prohibition was closed and his mind was swept away, the situation outside was clear at a glance, and there was no change before he left. Yen Yunyang and Tan Suqing heard Yi Tian's call. They took a look at their location, and then entered the cave step by step. When they come out, they have to return to their original position, otherwise they may have entered other folding space by one step. In order to keep the Dharma protector outside, Yi Tian can only choose to remove the magic light mark of 2 people at one time. Later, I urge the bead. You too feel the light of the bead with your heart.
Everyone has a certain chance. It depends on your fate.
Yi Tian almost repeated the words of Demeng Fanzi.
Chance? Isn't it to clear the mark of the devil? Tan Suqing and Yen Yunyang showed a trace of doubt in their eyes. You will know later. Yi Tian sold a pass, gestured, and urged the Hongwang Buddhist beads in his hand.
Just like in the small heaven and earth magic weapon cave, the Wanawang Brahma pearl emits a misty yellow light, enveloping the 2 female nuns Yen Yunyang and Tan Suqing. This time, Yi Tian felt it carefully. The misty yellow light lingered among the yellow light. When he came into contact with Huangguang, he heard the sound of Buddhist seal singing, and a glittering picture of Zen appeared in his mind.
It's so strange.
In this case, Yi Tian immediately thought of the golden ball he had used. When offering this pearl, people also have the illusion of Buddhist voice and Zen singing, and the illusion of golden Zen door. Immediately he motioned and took out the long and used golden ball from Shumi ring. However, when the golden ball was taken out, the golden Buddha pearl suddenly emitted a bright light, illuminating the whole cave. And Yi Tian's injured golden ball suddenly turned into a yellow light and directly shot at the Hongwang Buddhist beads.
Yi Tian's eyes coagulated.
He just wanted to look carefully, but he suddenly felt his body shake again.
A huge force poured into his body.
The barrier at the peak of the heavenly palace was broken by this force in an instant. The extremely powerful mana poured out from his elixir field. At this moment, he made a breakthrough again, and even directly hit the peak of Tiangong realm.
Yi Tian stared blankly at the Wanhuan Vatican beads in his hand.
The yellow light of the golden ball melted into the Vatican beads and disappeared. The golden ball naturally disappeared. Also in a daze are Yin Yunyang and Tan Suching. Standing in the magic weapon cave, they looked at Yi Tian in shock, with an incredible look in their eyes. Yi Tian said with a smile, "There's nothing to make a fuss about.
I'm lucky to break through." However, Yin Yunyang didn't seem to hear what Yi Tian said.
Suddenly, after an inspiration, she shouted to Yi Tian, "Palace Master. I just sensed the yellow light, and I broke through."
"Me too.
I broke through the heavenly palace."
Tan Suching, who has always been calm, said excitedly. "Both of them are new to the heavenly palace.
They are both in the early stage of the heavenly palace.
Now after repeated confirmation, they find that they have indeed entered the middle stage of the heavenly palace. How can they not be ecstatic?"
Yi Tian was surprised, but he also felt speechless. He broke through to the peak of the heavenly palace. They turned a blind eye. On the contrary, they broke through to the middle of the heavenly palace.
"Thank you for your help."
At this time, they didn't understand that all this was given by Yi Tian. It turned out that the opportunity mentioned by the palace master was this.
Yi Tian smiled and said, "You're welcome. These are your opportunities. Let's take a look at you."
As soon as he said this, Tan Suching blushed and looked at Yin Yunyang. "See if you still have the devil's mark on your body." Yi Tian knew that Tan Suching misunderstood himself and said hurriedly. Tan Suching's face became more red and hurried to lower her head. Just now she was still thinking that the palace leader should make such a request at this time.
"Do you want to agree?"
No. Tan Suching, after probing for a while, replied slowly.
"Sure enough, it's gone." Yin Yunyang's answer was much more normal. "Don't expose this matter. Go out and call Yen Zhongkai and Mu Rongjuan in." Yi Tian asked.
"Okay."
Tan Suching promised and rushed out when Yi Tian opened the door of the magic weapon cave.
"The palace master calls you in."
Hearing Tan Suching's voice and seeing Tan Suching blushing, Morong Jun thought on his side and entered the magic weapon cave with Yen Zhongkai.
"Palace leader, what are your accomplishments?"
Just entering the magic weapon cave, Yen Zhongkai and Moranjun couldn't help crying out.
Just before Yi Tian said that he wanted to enter the magic weapon cave to test the method of erasing the devil's mark, he was still a cultivation achievement in the early days of the heavenly palace. It was only a long time. When he saw Yi Tian again, Yi Tian's breath was more than 20 times stronger than before. The pressure on their bodies made them feel tight in their hearts, sending out a shock and awe from their bones.
"I'm afraid this level of authority must be at least the later stage of Tiangong realm or the peak power of Tiangong realm? But how is it possible?" In a moment, the palace leader broke through one after another and reached such a state?
"Palace leader, take the liberty to ask, what level have you reached now?"
Morong Jun finally couldn't help asking.
"The peak of the heavenly palace realm should be the highest realm of the spiritual realm. I don't know how long it will take to lower the thunder robbery and enter the immortal realm. It's estimated that it won't be in the spiritual realm for too long." Yi Tian took his hands and looked up at the top and said slowly.
"I don't know what I'm looking at."
"There's only the roof of the cave above. The peak of heavenly palace." Morong Jun murmured and repeated a sentence and looked at Yi Tian. "Dante, let me wait for the existence that can only be looked up to."
"Hee, you can too. Now there are many things in the spiritual realm.
I won't leave the spiritual realm for the time being. When you cross the robbery and fly up one day, you can make a breakthrough again."
Morong Jun shook his head and smiled bitterly.
It was far beyond his expectation to enter the heavenly palace. Originally, he thought he would die in Yupu, and finally dust to dust and earth to earth. It shouldn't be so difficult. "Didn't you see that Yin Yunyang and Tan Suching have broken through the middle of the heavenly palace?" Yi Tianjuan asked with a smile.
The middle of the heavenly palace?
Morong Jun and Yen Zhongkai were stunned at the words. Just now, neither of them really noticed the changes in the breath of Yen Yunyang and Tan Suching. Yen Zhongkai directly entered the magic weapon cave, but Mirangjun only noticed that Tan Suching's face was red, and he had some guesses in his heart.
He didn't pay any attention to Tan Suching's breath, let alone Yen Yunyang. Now I give you a chance. As for how much you can gain, it depends on your chance. From now on, you feel the yellow light I send out with your heart. Yi Tian said no more, but directly took out the Honghuang Buddhist beads. Yen Zhongkai and Morongjun looked dignified. They knew that Yi Tian would never make a fool of this matter.
Whether Yen Yunyang and Tan Suching had made a breakthrough or not, they just had to go out of the magic weapon cave to know.
The palace master absolutely had no need to joke. How could they not hold on to the chance that the palace leader solemnly said?
At this time, while the two were waiting, Yi Tian's mana urged the Wanhuang Buddhist beads to send out a soft magic light again.
Boom! Boom!
A moment later, Yen Zhongkai and Mu Rongjuan were shocked one after another and broke through the middle of the heavenly palace.
But Yi Tian had some regrets. This time, he didn't get a trace of power. In other words, I have reached the peak of Heaven Palace. If I break through again, I can't directly work in the fairy world. He was relieved to think so. Thanks to the palace master.
Yen Zhongkai felt his powerful changes, suddenly fell on one knee and bowed down to Yi Tian. His breakthroughs over and over again were all helped by Yi Tian, including the pills that broke through to the heavenly palace. They were all made by Yi Tian himself. Now it has entered the middle of the heavenly palace, which represents its own strength and long longevity. This worship, willingly.
Thank you, Palace Master. As soon as Morongjun knelt, Yen Zhongkai knelt down.
You know, it is extremely difficult to break through a small realm when you reach the realm above the realm of transforming God.
Many monks may be stuck in a small realm and may not enter inch all their life. When we arrived at Yupu, it was extremely difficult to break through each step. Not to mention the Heavenly Palace realm, the one-step breakthrough of the Heavenly Palace realm is completely incomparable with the one-step breakthrough of the cave realm. Now every step is a step forward in Reborn. Yen Zhongkai's excitement could not be described in words. Because of the particularity of my family, I have broken through the Heavenly Palace. In this case, it is not so easy to be deprived of the power of blood by other branches of the family. It can be said that he now has the capital to protect himself, not to mention that his sister Yen Yunyang has also broken through to the middle of the Heavenly Palace. The Yen family actually went to the middle of the Heavenly Palace twice at a time. What a happy event! Get up! The road of cultivation has just begun. Don't be so short-sighted. Just stare at the spirit world.
The fairy world has a door, and naturally it will be open to the spirit world. Yi Tian cleaned up and held up the two great energy kneeling on the ground slowly with an irresistible force.
Yes, it's us.
We shouldn't just stare at the spirit world. If the Palace Master takes the lead, we will try our best to saddle the front and back of the Palace Master in the fairy world.
Yen Zhongkai got up and said. Morongjun also nodded solemnly, with a flash of light in his eyes.
Yi Tian no longer said more about this, but changed the topic and said, "Now let's see if you still have the devil's mark on you?"
Morongjun and Yen Zhongkai checked it according to their words. Naturally, they couldn't find half of the mark anymore. They couldn't help but wonder again and again. I respect Yi Tian's means like a god.
Well, you don't have to expose the matter of removing the devil's mark for the time being, and you may get unexpected results. After confirming the matter, Yi Tian took them out of the magic weapon cave and put it away.
Haha, you stupid Terrans, do you have the last carnival here?
As soon as Yi Tian gang came out, the annoying voice sounded again in the sky. Words, how dirty, how dirty. However, from the other party's words, Yi Tian also judged that Demon Xiu didn't find that he had removed the devil's mark from these people. Black Mountain Demon Emperor, you will pay a heavy price for today's affairs, Yi Tianling snorted and said a few words to the crowd. Then he took Tan Suching's hand and urged the 5 element beads to go straight through the field shield and go outside.
Shoot an arrow.
Outside the field, I don't know which Demon Xiu suddenly gave a loud shout and burst countless terrible arrows at the front Yi Tian.
There are black arrows in the sky. Each arrow seems to have terrible lethality.
Maybe before the breakthrough, Tian would use the mountain and river seal to suppress these arrows, but it's really useless now. In the face of such a terrible arrow, Tian waved his right hand, and a powerful mana suddenly issued, as if a strong wind suddenly blew up centered on his body. The terrible mana wave suddenly touched the arrows, and the black arrows turned back in an instant, wrapped up a stronger attack force than before, and shot at the opposite Mingxiu.
Poof! 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 Countless arrows pierce into the body, and the sound is mixed together, continuous and lasting. The arrow originally shot at Tian turned back and went deep into the crowd of the demon army, causing countless deaths and injuries. Tian didn't stop at this point, but his body flashed and rushed into the magic army crowd like a human shell. Half-immortal soldiers' flying swords were released by him, harvesting the life of demon Xiu madly in the demon army. Tian manipulated more than a dozen fairy soldiers' flying swords at one time and rushed wantonly within a radius of tens of miles. At this time, Tan Suqing and others rushed out of the field and joined the regiment. The current 5-person team is not the same as the strength trapped in the dreamland before. Everyone is like a killing machine. Everywhere they go, demons fall down in pieces. Even if those demons find that the situation is wrong and want to escape, they have no chance to escape. Black Mountain Demon Emperor, we're out. Do you just want the corpses of these demons to stimulate our demons? Then we'll destroy your demon world before the outbreak of demons. Even if we become demons, we'll be the lord of the demon world. Tian shouted loudly as he frantically killed the demon Xiu. At this time, although he checked through the divine mind, he still didn't find the trace of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. Even here, the highest level is only the devil, not even any demon emperor. Even if his mind was greatly suppressed, he could sense the range of about 10,000 miles, but there was still no trace of Hua Su, Yu Yan and Ling Ming Stone Monkey. Seeing that the Black Mountain Demon Emperor didn't speak again, Yi Tianling snorted and greeted the 4 great powers in the heavenly palace. Then he performed a large movement, flew over more than 100,000 miles at one time and came to the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World. Here, countless demons gather, with the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World as the center, and all around are demons. With the naked eye, you can't see the edge of this demon repair army at all. At the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World, the army of the Demon World is pouring into the entrance of the Demon World. It's attacking the Earth Star. Yi Tianling snorted and urged more than a dozen semi-immortal soldiers to fly towards the entrance of the Demon World. He blocked the entrance of the demon world and formed a tight sword curtain, so that no one in the demon cultivation could pass through the sword curtain composed of more than a dozen flying swords and enter the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World. Then, Tian released more than a dozen half-immortal soldiers flying swords again and cut them to the dense demon cultivation team. Every half-immortal soldier flying sword is a killing god. More than a dozen swords are more than a dozen murderers. Where they pass, demons repair their bones into mountains and are killed one by one. The other 4 great powers of the heavenly palace also shot at the same time and entered the demon cultivation army. They all killed countless demons with the power of sweeping everything. Morong Jun, Yan Zhongkai, enter the space channel and go to Death Valley to see the situation. Although Tian has confidence in the above defense machines and tools, after all, there is no great power in the heavenly palace. The means shown by the demon world during this period are unimaginable and impossible to prevent. Tian is also worried about accidents there. The demon cultivation at the Eye of the Demon World had been killed by him. Morong Jun and Yan Zhongkai promised and shot straight at the vortex of demon gas. Yi Tianxin read a move. The dozen flying swords flashed towards the demon cultivation team in the distance and completely let out the entrance here. There are 2 heavenly palace realm masters who can reach the ground. They should be enough. Yi Tian didn't go up in person, so he frantically killed endless demon cultivation here. Since the Heishan Emperor wants to demonize himself, kill him everywhere, and kill him with blood flowing into a river. There were several demon emperors here, but they disappeared as soon as Yi Tian and others appeared. It was obvious that they had fled. Indifferent. Anyway, if you want to destroy the demon world, let them live for a while. Originally, Yi Tian had no such idea, but one moment after another, he entered the peak of the heavenly palace. Even against the ancient demon emperor, he also had the power of a war. What are you afraid of?
With Yi Tian's strong mind, he was able to manipulate more than 30 semi-immortal soldiers' flying swords. These flying swords followed the retreating demon army and killed them madly. Where the flying sword passes, countless demon corpses fall.
It's terrible.
When he was chasing the demon army, his eyes suddenly coagulated. Within the sensing range of his mind, he suddenly found that a figure thousands of miles away was waving in a big stick and sweeping through Mingxiu.
He was very happy to kill Ling Ming Stone Monkey.
Yi Tian murmured and called, and the stone in his heart was finally put down.
Since Ling Ming Stone Monkey appears, there are only Hua Su and Yu Yan left. I don't know what the situation is now. Master, I'm back.
A moment later, the Ling Ming Stone Monkey, who had been killing wildly all the way, finally came near Yi Tian, and he shouted loudly from a distance.
But the magic stick in his hand kept sweeping through the demon army. Where have you been? Asked Yi Tian.
Palace Master, I saw the Ox Demon King and went after him, the Ling Ming Stone Monkey replied loudly.
Okay, see Hua Su and Yu Yan? It doesn't matter if the ox is not the Ox Demon King. Compared with the Ox Demon King, Yi Tian is more concerned about Yu Yan and Hua Su.
When I left the Magic Fire City, I saw it. At that time, the Grandmaster should have seen it, and knew that everyone was safe. Later, I was besieged by the demon family, and then I found the Ox Demon King, and no one met.
I sent a messenger to the Grandmaster at that time, didn't the Grandmaster receive it?
Ling Ming Stone Monkey was waving a magic stick to hunt down the demon army.
Suddenly, his eyes coagulated and couldn't help looking at Yi Tian more. Master, what are your accomplishments?
Just at this time, Yan Yunyang gave an extremely powerful blow in the distance, and made a great movement. Under her attack, a large area of demon cultivation turned into flying debris and spread a large area of blood.
Ah, Yan Dao's accomplishments have also broken through.
Ling Ming Stone Monkey looked at Tan Suching on the other side. Tan Dao also broke through the middle of the heavenly palace.
Did it take me a long time to hunt down the Ox Demon King this time? It's so long that you have broken through to this extent? But why didn't I think it took too much time? Don't think about it. We all broke through during this time. Go back to the ground and have a look. Yan Zhongkai and Mu Rongjuan have gone up. Come back and tell me what's going on.
Yi Tian said that to Ling Ming Stone Monkey. He took care of his body to flash, wielded more than 30 flying swords, and wantonly killed Demon Xiu. Ling Ming Stone Monkey promised, turned into a black light, directly threw into the magic gas vortex and disappeared. At this time, the demon army was retreating wildly in all directions, like the boundless tide retreating back, boundless. Even if it was defeated and fled, it also created a very shocking scene. Compared with such a large number of demon troops, Yi Tian, Yan Yunyang and Tan Suching seem so lonely, but the three lonely people choose a direction, use frequent means, launch terrorist attacks again and again, and frantically harvest the life of Demon Xiu. Here, although the devil cultivation has countless deaths and injuries, Yi Tian still sees the power of the devil world from the array of the devil army. The strength of these magic armies is different, including the Devil King, the Devil Emperor and the Devil Statue. The weak cultivation is also the Devil King and the Devil General. Although the realm is different, such a number will face an unimaginable catastrophe if they do not return to the earth in time. Perhaps, you don't have to wait for the action of the demon world. As early as the time of sending troops in the underworld, the earth has been devastated. In order to completely eliminate this danger, Yi Tian has made up his mind at this time. This time, the demon world will be completely destroyed, and the underworld will be cleaned up later. They will never be allowed to develop and grow again. The Earth's aura has just recovered. It will take a lot of time to cultivate civilization to the level of more than 2,000 years ago. The cultivation civilization of the whole Earth should be in full bloom, and you can't stay on the Earth all the time. Then completely eradicate these two future problems before leaving. Kill these demons as much as possible. After Yi Tian gave a voice to Yan Yunyang and Tan Suching, he flashed his body, performed a large movement, and once again stood in the defeated Dark Army. It's no use for Tiangong Realm's power to run away. Even if you run away for a long time, maybe Tiangong Realm's power can catch up with you with only one blink.
Yi Tian was like this.
His mind locked these demons and killed them crazily again.
Black Mountain old devil, are you dumb? Did you watch your demon family be killed like this? Yi Tian spread his voice far away while using his means to kill Demon Xiao. Unfortunately, the voice of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor was no longer heard in the sky. Since you want to be a shrinking turtle, do it yourself. Originally, Yi Tian didn't report any hope.
He called the Black Mountain Demon Emperor here. On the one hand, although he wanted to lead the Black Mountain Demon Emperor out, on the other hand, he was the fighting spirit of dividing and disintegrating the demon army. Although he didn't know what these demon armies thought about the high level of the demon world regardless of their life and death, it was obvious that the demon repair fled faster. The pursuit continued all the time, and countless demons fell in the crazy pursuit of the three killing gods. However, no demon emperor appeared. It seems that these demon armies have become abandoned children and let them live and die. The chase like this lasted more than an hour. On the ground thousands of miles away, there were many demon corpses.
The killed demons had reached a huge astronomical number.
The magician who survived by luck has fled very scattered. He can feel the crazy running figure of magician everywhere. Yi Tian still didn't give up the pursuit, but in the process of pursuit, he suddenly stopped. The next moment he had moved away and returned to the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World. Here, Lingming Stone Monkey, Yan Zhongkai and Murong Jun have flashed out of the eyes of the demon world.
How's the situation up there? Yi Tian asked directly.
All the demons who entered the Earth Star have been killed.
Murong Jun immediately replied. Yi Tian Dao said, I know all of them have been killed, otherwise you can't return. What I want to ask is the casualties of the disciples of the Mithraea Palace?
Murong Jun looked at Yan Zhongkai, and they both smiled. Yan Zhongkai said, the palace leader should have confidence in the disciples of the Mithraea Palace. There are nearly 100,000 martial spirit puppets and Huafan stone defense belt in the Death Valley.
Although there are many people in the past, how can they beat the disciples of the palace?
None of the disciples were killed or injured, and many of them were first infected by the smell of looting embers, and then launched an attack. This situation is against the Iron Army of the Mithraea Palace. Even if we go back, it doesn't play a big role.
Even if we don't go back, the Earth Star is as solid as gold. So, no demon emperor has entered the Earth Star? Yi Tian has absolute confidence in the Mithraea Palace.
Ordinary demon practitioners naturally can't do anything about the Mithraea Palace, but Yi Tian is worried that the demon emperor in the demon world will form a group to enter the Earth Star. If he takes out similar means to deal with himself against the Mithraea Palace disciples on the Earth Star, I'm afraid the result will not be so optimistic.
No, I didn't find any demon emperor.
Murong Jun shook his head and said, at present, under the auspices of the principles of each branch, the top is cleaning the battlefield and preparing for another attack by the demon cultivation.
Yi Tian nodded slightly and said, Murong Jun, stay here.
If there is a difficult demon emperor, you can return to the Earth Star and suppress the eyes of the demon world with mountains and rivers.
Then I will come back to support you.
Yes, Palace Master. Murong Jun readily agreed that Yi Tian attached great importance to the Earth Star and the disciples of the Mithraea Palace above.
Murong Jun knew that giving this task to himself was absolutely his trust.
Judging from the current situation in the demon world, since this group of attacks failed, the next attack will not be as simple as this one, if any.
Obviously, Yi Tian will kill all sides in the demon world. At that time, some demon emperors will probably gather here to enter the Earth Star.
After arranging Murong Jun's task, Yi Tian gestured and took out a magic weapon from the cave out of thin air. He said, Lingming, come in with me. Lingming Stone Monkey knew that there must be a very important thing for Yi Tian to greet himself in this case. He nodded and entered the magic weapon cave with Yi Tian.
Grandmaster. Lingming, hidden killing can't be used, right? Yi Tian asked directly.
Lingming Stone Monkey nodded again. Yes, I suspect it has something to do with the magic light of the demon clan.
Yes, it's related to the magic light. If you look at your chest, is there a mark of the devil's head? Yi Tian nodded. Hearing the speech, Lingming Stone Monkey began to look at his chest, then looked at Yi Tian in amazement and asked, "Grandmaster, is this serious?"
"It's not painful and itchy, and there's no strange smell."
"If the Grandmaster didn't remind me, I don't know when I can find this strange?"
Yi Tian smiled and said, "Originally, this situation was very serious, but with me, no matter how serious things are. Before, I erased the devil's mark for Mu Rongjuan, Yan Zhongkai, Yan Yunyang and Tan Suching, and improved my accomplishments.
Now it's your turn."
I also noticed the changes in the breath of Yan Zhongkai and Mu Rongjun. I was still wondering that it must be caused by the magic power of the ancestor.
Now it seems that it is true.
Lingming Stone Monkey shrugged and smiled happily.
Yi Tian gestured and took out the Honghuang Buddhist beads.
As before, he said those words to Yan Yunyang and others to the Lingmingshi monkey again.
Then he urged the beads with magic power to emit a yellow light.
Under the light of the Buddha's pearl, the invisible power of the famine poured into the body of the Lingmingshi monkey. For a moment, there was only a bang, and the body of the Lingmingshi monkey suddenly shook, emitting a strong breath.
"Grandmaster, I have also broken through the middle of the Heavenly Temple Sutra.
It is so magical that my accomplishments are still growing," said Lingmingshi monkey happily. Before he was suppressed by those great powers, his cultivation was only in the early days of the Heavenly Palace. So far, after the shining of the Buddhist beads, he felt such a powerful force for the first time.
"Well, please put away this pearl, Grandmaster."
"That power has disappeared, and the fate method should stop here.
However, it is very good. It has reached the peak in the middle of Tiandong territory.
If there are other opportunities, it will soon break through to the later stage of Tiangong territory," Lingmingshi monkey said happily. After that, he looked at Yi Tian and said with envy, "Master, your cultivation speed is beyond Lingming's reach.
You know, you are only in your 20s.
Tut tut. I'm afraid there has been no one in all heaven in 10,000 regions since ancient times. After all, master is a master, which should be far more than that of Master Sui Huang.
Emperor Sui studies heaven and man. How can I achieve this compared with Emperor Sui? It's nothing more than standing on the shoulders of giants.
However, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. I am so, Lingming, and so are you. Being illuminated by the Vatican light, you can not only eliminate the danger of magic light, but also have great compassion. Lingming, I hope you can always have good thoughts and achieve positive results as soon as possible.
If you don't let me, I'm disappointed.
I can help Zishi go up to the fairyland with you someday,"
said Yi Tian with a smile. Lingmingshi monkey is a very special existence around Yi Tian.
This monkey was bred by Lingshi and was obstinate. In his early years, he made a lot of trouble in the world and was suppressed by several but could work together. Moreover, according to Lingming Stone Monkey, the magic weapon he used was originally called Rui Stick.
When Yi Tian was in primary school, every summer vacation, the familiar melody appeared on TV, dong 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 dong. Is the guy with Lei Gongzue inside very similar to Lingming Stone Monkey?
Moreover, there is Fanzong here. The great dream Fanzi once said that Fanzong has a difficulty of 9,981. Yi Tian naturally associates it with Lingming Stone Monkey. Moreover, from the situation that Lingming Stone Monkey bathed in the Buddhist beads just now, he gained a lot more than the other four great powers. The amount of harvest, according to the great dream Fanzi, depends on the fate method. Through this, it is enough to show that the Stone Monkey and the Fanja fate method are quite deep. Is Lingming Stone Monkey the later fighting Saint Buddha? Originally, this kind of speculation was absurd, but Yi Tian experienced rebirth, also personally revived Ning Yao, and crossed the time and space tunnel.
What else don't you believe?
What's more, when he was shocked, there was an Ox Demon King and an Iron Fan in the demon world.
Most importantly, there was also a Zishi, and Zisha. Who can tell the two names clearly? In the story, if you say he is, if you say he is not, then you are not anyway. Yi Tian buried a tight hoop curse for Lingming Stone Monkey here to prevent him from doing anything that can't be restrained after he is wild and uninhibited and improves his cultivation. The disciples remember the teachings of their ancestors, but Zishi no longer exists, said Lingming Stone Monkey respectfully. Something happened to Zishi? Doesn't it mean that there were no casualties among the disciples in the palace? She should be one of the disciples in the palace? Yi Tian asked in amazement. Lingming Stone Monkey kept shaking his head and said, how could something happen to Zishi? She just changed her name and called Zixia. Horizontal Trough Yi Tian was shocked and really came in this direction. Why change your name? Yi Tianman asked curiously.
Lingming Stone Monkey said with a smile, I let you change it.
Zishi's son is rare. It's a bad name. I want to have a lot of children with Zishi.
Yi Tian's expression was stifled, and he felt speechless for a moment.
Then, he said with a smile, I think it should be a good choice to call Zixia Fairy. Ha ha ha. That's what I call it when we are together. Ling Mingshi Monkey Ruren laughed. What's the situation over there? Yi Tian tightened his heart again and hurriedly asked. He ran away, and he became a devil chi dun.
In the devil chi, I chased for a long time, but I didn't catch up, said Lingming Stone Monkey with some regret.
Then catch up later. Well, remember what I said just now.
I hope Zixia can become a real fairy, not just in your mouth.
Yi Tian didn't say much more.
He asked Lingming Stone Monkey, and took him out of the magic weapon cave.
Lingming Taoist friend, congratulations. It seems that Lingming Taoist friend's fate is not shallow. He is so diligent. Yi Tian asks Lingmingshi Monkey to go in.
Morong Jun and others outside naturally know what it is.
They are all curious about the extent to which Lingmingshi Monkey can break through. At first sight, sensing the strong breath of Lingming Stone Monkey, Morong Jun and others hurried to congratulate with a smile.
These are fellow disciples who have fought together.
Looking at the heavens and regions, there are rare figures.
The battle between the Maitreya Palace and the demon world is destined to soar to the sky. At this time, the strength has increased several times compared with that when they just entered the demon world. It can be said that the future 10,000 fields of the heavens will definitely be the 10,000 fields of the Maitreya Palace.
There is no doubt about this. Of course, the stronger the people around them, the better. Yi Tian hopes that the whole body of the Maitreya Palace will be united.
Naturally, they will not go against Yi Tian's wish. In the eyes of these people, Yi Tian is not only the lord of the Maitreya Palace, not just the former Dante, but the existence of God. These people even began to guess that one day, Yi Tian's achievements will surpass the Flint Emperor, and he is also an amazing figure in the fairy world. One day, they can cultivate immortal life, ascend the fairyland and gather around Yi Tian.
Maybe they can do something earth-shaking in the fairyland.
Lingming Stone Monkey modestly responded with a few words, and then stopped talking. They began to look at Yi Tian.
Obviously, Yi Tian will have the next action arrangement. They are waiting for Yi Tian to make a decision. Yi Tian said to the crowd.
The next moment they moved, 6 ripples appeared in the sky, and they disappeared from here. However, before long, Morong Jun, who had moved away in a blink, came back quietly, hid near the eye of the underworld, released his mind and carefully observed the movement around him. At this time, Yi Tian and the other 4 Tiangong Danang were already in a high altitude, and the Demon King was far away. Thousands of miles away, there is a magic city much larger than the magic inflammation city, called the Magic Capital City. This city also has a palace of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. Yi Tian can't find Hua Su and Yu Yen now, so he comes here. The group learned from the previous experience and lessons, and instead of flying directly into the magic capital, they stood here, covered the magic capital with divine thoughts and felt it carefully. Everybody, have you found anything special about this magic capital? Suddenly, Yi Tian asked.
What's special? It's big, said the Lingming Stone Monkey first.
However, it doesn't take much time to wipe out the magic capital. He has just improved his cultivation and entered the middle of the heavenly palace. Lingming Stone Monkey really has an impulse to fight. Especially in the face of demonic cultivation, he hates his bones.
Those demonic cultivation almost separated him from Zishi and lead to death for the first time. Yi Tian only smiled when he heard the speech, and didn't say anything more.
At this time, Tan Suching suddenly said, "Palace Master, I have found that although this city is far larger than Magic Inflammation City, when you look closely, the huge buildings in the city are very similar to those in Magic Inflammation City."
I mean, the location.
Magic Inflammation City looks like a reduced version of Magic Capital, and Magic is like an enlarged version of Magic Inflammation City. Well, it should be observed carefully enough.
That's the case. Do you think that both the Magic Capital and the Magic Fire City are like a huge altar? Yi Tian nodded slightly. Altar? The four celestial beings, including Ling Mingxi Monkey, could smell the speech, and their thoughts covered the whole Magic Capital.
They observed it carefully. Yi Tian pointed to the Magic Capital in the distance and continued, "You see, the Magic Capital is square, short on all sides, but high in the middle. It is in a gradually rising shape, and the highest part in the middle is the palace of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. Yes, the tall buildings in Mordo City occupy a mysterious position. It seems that some smaller buildings just form ruins." Liao Zhongkai began to ponder after observing. "Brother, that's true. If the palace leader hadn't reminded me, who could have made such a big effort to arrange the whole Magic Capital into an altar in the world of evil? It seems that the plan is not small. Was it a conspiracy of the world of evil to kill countless monsters in the city of evil inflammation, sacrifice the blood of monsters and detonate the whole altar with magic light?" At this time, Yen Yunyang suddenly said if she realized something. Yi Tian nodded slightly. "I also have this guess, but whether it is or not still needs to be verified in the future. There is no smell of the Devil Emperor in this city, but there are many low-level demons. Let's go outside the city and attack remotely." "Yes." They promised, and with Yi Tian flying towards the enchanted capital, they stopped 10 miles away from the city. "Let's start." Yi Tian nodded slightly and said. Many half-immortal soldiers flying swords flew out of him quickly, flew directly over countless buildings in the periphery of the city, and flew towards the palace in the center of the magic capital. Boom! 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 A deafening sound came out, and many sword lights shone and shone. They bombarded the huge palace, and buildings burst into pieces. The momentum was very terrible. The others also started at this time. When Ling Ming was the first to make a gesture, the divine stick in his hand turned into a shadow of a stick and directly hit a tall hall. With the terrorist power coerced by the divine stick, the hall collapsed, and many demons flew out and fled elsewhere. But in the sky, sword lights flashed, and the escaped demon Shio was cut in pieces by the terrible sword light before he went far. However, with such a degree of attack, there are still countless Mingxiu flying from all over the city and running crazy. If you deal with the general existence of the Devil Emperor with long-range attack, it is basically impossible to kill the other party, because the long-range attack power is much weaker than that at close range after all. However, it is more than enough to deal with the demons below some demons. In particular, the weakest of these Tiangong realm powers have entered the middle of Tiangong realm, which is not comparable to ordinary early monks in Tiangong realm. Every attack has a terrible smell of destruction, and a small flying sword also erupts into a power that makes people tremble. The buildings in the city collapsed in large areas, and the first to fall were the key buildings suspected of forming altars. And the devil who tried to escape, under such a degree of attack, it is difficult to get away to survive. The destruction of the magic capital continued. The killing of demon cultivation in the city is also going on. A magnificent magic capital has become a ruin in less than half an hour. Countless demons failed to escape from the city, so they were ruthlessly killed. Until the end, Yi Tian and others stopped and called their magic weapons back. They didn't see any demon emperor. At this time, Yi Tian could not feel the existence of a living demon cultivation in the magic capital city. Go! Yi Tian spoke again, said a few words, and disappeared from his place out of thin air. The next moment, the party came to another big city. This city is called Magic Gold City, which is also the location of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor's Palace. Sure enough, the buildings here are the same as the Magic City and the Magic Capital City, but there is no such layout without the Magic City of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor's Palace. Yen Yunyan looked at it and said. Yi Tian nodded slightly. According to the situation observed now, the magic city where the Black Mountain Magic Emperor's palace is located should have such a layout. In other words, the Black Mountain Magic Emperor arranges the palace in the magic city with the whole city as the altar. According to my guess, the Black Mountain Magic Emperor's layout should be not only to prevent our human friars, but also to prevent the Magic Emperor in the demon world.
Why do you say that? What can we guard against? Asked Ling Ming Stone Monkey. It's very simple.
The Black Mountain Demon Emperor is worried about being robbed of power.
After all, there are not a few demons who have reached the level of the Demon Emperor in the demon world, and there are dozens of people.
Moreover, the Shadowless Demon Emperor and the Purple Dove Demon Emperor are Taoist couples, and there are many good friends.
Both of these two demons have stealth powers. You can make the Black Mountain Demon Emperor have peace of mind and don't do some defense. Are you ready? Tian said with an eyebrow. Sure enough, there are some reasons. The demon family is inhumane.
It may be able to do anything for resources and rights. Especially those demon emperors, who pursue the improvement of their own realm and the immortal demon life, can drive countless demons to die, sit back and watch the local demons be killed, and don't want to take a risk.
There will be many who can control the whole demon world inexhaustible resources. This should be the position that every demon emperor doing should be willing to sit on.
Ling Ming Stone Monkey nodded and said.
Tian continued to analyze. Ling Ming is right.
The devil cultivation has no human nature. Moreover, the devil cultivation may not know in advance that we will go to the devil inflammation city stealthily, and we arranged means as early as how many years ago?
But we just entered the palace of the devil inflammation city, and we exposed our whereabouts.
This is enough to show that the Black Mountain Devil Emperor has long made arrangements and precautions to prevent stealth from sneaking into the Devil Palace. There is great potential here. It can be aimed at the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor. Yen Yunyang said thoughtfully, but by searching the souls of the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor, they have no bad intention of the Black Mountain Devil Emperor? Tian touched his chin and said, this situation is caused by the temperament of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. It can be seen from the fact that he has arranged so many palaces and his whereabouts are always kept secret. He is always cautious, suspicious, and ruthless. It is impossible to lead him out by killing demons. Moreover, those demons at the Demon Emperor level should cultivate hidden God's tone. It will take a lot of trouble to find them by virtue of God. Whether it's easy or not, you can find it sooner or later in the demon world.
Master, destroy the magic golden city first, said the Ling Mingshi monkey with a sneer.
Of course, if you come, do it.
Otherwise, keep the wine?
As he spoke, Tian had driven dozens of flying swords, and the cold light flashed into the city.
The holy stick of Ling Mingshi monkey followed the sword and crashed into the city. The rest of them were unwilling to fall behind. Like a replica of the magic capital, they launched the destruction of the magic golden city with a strong and terrible momentum. The demons in the city are naturally willing to be destroyed and still try their best to escape. However, how can these demons escape the joint encirclement and killing of many powerful people in the heavenly palace? The roar is heard all the time, and a large number of demons' bodies in the sky fall into the city. In less than an hour, the magic gold city, which was good before, became a ruin again. Next, Tian and his party rushed to different cities one after another. Naturally, he chose the magic cities with palaces built by the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, and destroyed them one by one, wantonly killing the demons in the city. However, he regretted that there was still no magic emperor in these cities, and no magic emperor was found along the way, even after careful exploration. Including Hua Su and Yu Yan, there was no trace. At this time, the magic Earth City in front of Tian and others has completely turned into ruins. Grand Master, go to the next city? Ling Ming Stone Monkey motioned and called back his magic stick. It doesn't make much sense to continue to destroy the magic city. The most important thing is to find the whereabouts of Hua Su and Yu Yan. I have a hunch that they may be trapped in a dreamland, just like the dreamland we were trapped in before.
Tian said thoughtfully. But how can we find it? We were looking all the way before, but there was no trace. Ling Ming Stone Monkey scratched his ear and asked helplessly.
I think of a way to have a try, Tian said immediately. What's the way? Asked Lingming Stone Monkey eagerly. Wait a minute, you'll know in a moment, as he said. Yi Tian cleaned up, released a magic weapon cave and entered it with his body. For about 3 minutes, when the people secretly guessed what method Yi Tian used to find Huasu and Yu Yan, Yi Tian had come out of the magic weapon cave. However, this time, Yi Tian didn't come out of the magic weapon cave alone. Behind him was a beautiful little girl with 2 sky brushes. It was the cicada. Just when everyone was surprised, Yi Tian said to the cicada, remember? Look for the smell of fierce soldiers flying swords, and this. As he spoke, Yi Tian stretched out his hand to Yen Yunyang, bring Hou Yi's bow. Yen Yunyang immediately gestured, took out Hou Yi's bow and handed it to Yi Tian. Feel the smell. It's an imitation. The smell is not exactly the same, but there are some similar places. Yi Tian then handed Hou Yi's bow to the cicada. Huasu carries Yi Tian's fierce soldier flying sword, and Yu Yan also carries Yi Tian's imitation Hou Yi bow. Although he suspects that Huasu and Yu Yan are trapped in the same place, what if they are not? Therefore, the breath of the 2 treasures must be searched by the cicada. Once 2 people are alone, it will save the process of repeated search. Chan Chan is very familiar with the smell of fierce soldiers flying swords, but Huigong feels very strange, because she almost always comes out of the magic weapon cave. Even if Yi Tian enters the magic weapon cave, he sometimes flies his sword with fierce soldiers. The cicada put her small nose close to Hou Yi's bow, played back and forth the wings of her nose, smelled it for a few times, then closed it and seemed to remember it. After opening her eyes again, she said with a smile, Master, I have written it down. Well, feel it now. Yi Tian said to the cicada after returning Hou Yi's bow to Yen Yunyang. The cicada nodded very obediently, began to frown and felt around. For about a minute, she finally shook her head and said, Master, there should be no smell of those 2 things within 50,000 miles. Can you feel the distance of 50,000 li now? Yi Tian asked in amazement. Master, how can I say that I have reached the peak of Yuanying territory? Can I feel a lot of breath in 50,000 li? The cicada asked with her head tilted. Not only Yi Tian was surprised, but also other Tiangong realm powers were very surprised. With their insight, they have already seen the green charm identity of the cicada. But to their surprise, the ordinary green charm can't cultivate, but the green charm can cultivate to the peak of Yuanying territory at such a young age, and can exert all kinds of mana like the human friars. This is definitely the best anecdote in the world. But they don't want to be surprised by the many miracles created by Yi Tian and the various means that have been shown. After all, it should not be so difficult for the palace master who can make the heavenly palace realm break through a small realm in a short moment, so that the green charm can cultivate, and has reached the peak of Yuanying realm at a young age. Although they can't do it, it doesn't mean Yi Tian can't. That's a god-like existence. Yi Tian didn't say anything when he heard the cicada's explanation, but he was still very happy. He was so excited that the eldest disciple he recognized at random had grown up to this extent and could help himself a lot. The sensing distance of 50,000 li is absolutely very strong. In this way, no matter how big the demon world is, it won't make him feel that this goal is slim. Okay, come with me, come here, thousands of miles. Yi Tian hesitated and pointed in a direction they hadn't been to. Since the sensing range of the cicada is 50,000 miles around, the distance of 100,000 miles, since it will not be wasted or overlapped, should be the most efficient distance. For them now, the distance of 100,000 li is just a big move, which is as simple as taking a step. With that, Yi Tian took the cicada's small hand, which had stirred several circles of ripples and disappeared from the original place out of thin air. Lingming Stone Monkey and others don't neglect it. They used the big move technique to escape in the direction Yi Tian said. When these people appeared again, the cicada began to feel carefully. Everyone didn't bother. The cicada has a unique talent and magic power. It is born and belongs to the race of Green Charm, but the cicada magnifies this magic power to the extreme. Although these heavenly palaces are powerful, deep in cultivation, strong in strength, and sensitive to breath, they are far from reaching the level of cicadas. Not to mention 50,000 miles, it is 1,000 miles accident, and their noses can no longer play any role. This time, the cicada felt very serious and changed direction from time to time.
She was also worried that she would miss something due to temporary negligence. In that case, it would certainly damage Master's great event. Once you miss it, you want to feel from the beginning, but you have to start from the beginning and do everything again. It took 3 minutes for the cicada to return to normal. The cicada didn't show such a surprise reaction for the first time. Tian already knew that it must be the little girl who didn't find anything. Otherwise, with her character, she would jump up and shout, "Master, I found it." Well, keep looking forward, or 100,000 miles. Tian took the cicada's hand and just wanted to perform the great movement, but he heard the cicada quickly say, "Master, please wait a minute." The sounds seemed urgent. Tian knew that there must be a reason. He held the cicada's hand and didn't let it go, but he looked at the cicada with questioning eyes. The cicada looked in a certain direction and said, "Master, I didn't find the smell of fierce soldiers flying swords and black bows, but I accidentally felt the smell of another treasure." "Oh, what kind of treasure?" Tian asked unexpectedly. He knew that he had reached the current state of the cicada. With so many treasures he had come into contact with, even if he met a top-grade fairy jade vein, he might not be able to be regarded as a treasure. After all, the little girl usually ate the top-grade fairy jade. Moreover, even the half-immortal soldiers would despise it in front of her. This time, since I felt the smell of the treasure, it must not be an ordinary treasure. It's a treasure of the same level as the black bow just now. The cicada blinked her small eyes and narrowed them into a slit. This expression meant that he was laughing. A level baby with Hou-Yi Bao? Although he had guessed that the treasure found by the cicada was not an ordinary treasure, he couldn't help but move in his heart when he heard that it was a treasure of this level. Hou-Yi's Bao is a treasure at the level of Immortals. That is to say, the cicada found another Immortals. There are invisible pearls on Tian's fairyware. The Tianluo net is in Tan Suqing's hand, and Hou-Yi's Bao is in Yan Yunyang's hand. These two people are now beside themselves. At this point, the cicada must have a different meaning. "In the direction you just looked?" asked Tian. The cicada nodded vigorously. "Yes, it's over there, about 40,000 miles away from here." Then the cicada raised her little hand and pointed away. Tianchen immediately let go and looked at the direction pointed by the cicada. About 40,000 miles away, it was a continuous black mountain range. The mountain range was large, with a vertical and horizontal span of more than 20,000 miles. The mountains were lush and lush. But beyond that, I don't see any difference from other places. While Tian was observing, Deneng of the rest of the heavenly palace was also looking at it and saw the terrain clearly. And felt for a while and didn't find any magic cultivation. "Let's go and have a look." Location, 35,000 miles. Tian said something, took the cicada's small hand, performed a big move, and left here directly. The next moment, a group of people appeared in an area of the mountain. Tianchen thought covered the place where the cicada pointed and said, "Cicada, feel it again." "Okay, master," the cicada agreed happily and felt it seriously again. "Master, it's strange that the location of the treasure is near. It's 30,000 miles away from here, and it's in that direction." This time, the cicada felt very fast. In less than a minute, she showed a look of surprise in her eyes and pointed to another direction. This direction is opposite to what she pointed out before, and there is not a big included angle. Can the treasure run away? It's strange. "I'll go and have a look first," the Lingming stone monkey frowned and said, and then he wanted to perform a big move to leave here. "Lingming, don't act rashly." Tian quickly shouted to stop it. Lingming stone monkey stopped and looked at Tian's grandmaster. "The speed of the treasure is not slow. Don't let him slip away." Tian shook his head. "Although Lingming has many high-level treasures, even some shaped spiritual materials can move by themselves. Have you ever thought that if these treasures are controlled by a demon monk?" "Ah. That's what I said." Lingming stone monkey was surprised. His mind covered the direction pointed by the cicada, but he didn't find any demon cultivation. However, what Tian said does not rule out this possibility. If the treasures reaching the immortal level are controlled in the hands of Demon Xiu, the Demon Xiu must not be an idle person, at least he is also an ordinary demon emperor. If the other party also has the magic power to hide his whereabouts and makes a sudden sneak attack, he is not sure that he can escape. After all, he hasn't even seen the other party's treasure. A confidant does not know the other, and is completely in a passive situation. Even if Yin Yunyang openly shoots herself with Ho Yi's bow, the best result is that she is seriously injured, let alone sneak attack herself. So, just now, the Grandmaster didn't move out of the distance of 40,000 li at one time, but stayed at the place of 35,000 li, so he had made good precautions. Thinking about what Yi Tiangang just said, Ling Ming's stone monkey was surprised. If he guessed so, his Grandmaster Yi Tian's mind was really terrible. Unexpectedly, in a short moment, things were not handled so carefully. Or what do you say? Yi Tian looked at him and said to the cicada, "Where is the treasure now?" Still there, not moving, the cicada felt it again and said with certainty, "Don't use the big move, just fly away." Yi Tian slightly pondered and said to the crowd. Then he took the cicada and flew towards the distant target. "Master, the treasure has flown away and can't feel it." After a few breaths, the cicada's face changed, looked up at Yi Tian and said in frustration. As soon as Yi Tian's body stopped, his mind sensed the ripples that had not dissipated in the locked position, revealing a thoughtful look. "Palace Master, I'm sure it's a treasure carried by a high-level demon cultivation." Yan Zhongkai's mind was also sensing the ripples, and then came to Yi Tian and said. Yi Tian nodded slightly, touched the cicada's small head and comforted, "It doesn't matter. If you run this time, you can need it next time." Cicada, although you haven't got the treasure, you have made great achievements. Just say what reward you want. I want Shifu to take me out often and find more treasures for Shifu. The cicada raised her head and looked at Yi Tian expectantly. Okay, you can play if you like. When you miss your mother, you can enter the cave. Yi Tian comforted her, then looked at the people around her and said, "At least through this thing, we can see that there are treasures comparable to immortal tools in the demon cultivation. On the other hand, this demon cultivation should also be able to hide. Moreover, according to my judgment, this person is likely to be the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, and other demons cannot have such a level of treasures. The Shadowless God knows other demons very well, and no other demon emperor has such treasures in his memory. The demon emperor with this treasure can only be a person who doesn't even know the Shadowless Demon Emperor very well, so this person is only the Black Mountain Demon Emperor." What the palace leader said is very reasonable. The people nodded one after another. After Yi Tian said so, they also wanted to understand this. Yi Tian continued, "Let's take that man as the Black Mountain Demon Emperor for the moment. According to my estimation, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor is not sure whether we really found him. After all, he hides so skillfully and is far away from each other. Generally speaking, there is no reason for us to find his existence, and he didn't expect that there are cicadas here who can sense the smell of treasures. I carefully checked my surroundings. There were no small insects that could eavesdrop in the vicinity for more than 10 miles. In other words, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor could not hear what we said. The reason why he was invisible was entirely because he was used to being cautious. What the palace master said is quite reasonable. He added that the demon cultivation is the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. So where did he hide and what did he want to do? Was he ready to ambush us? Yan Zhongkai said in a deep voice. Yi Tian Dao, it's unlikely that we were in the Magic Earth City before, but the Black Mountain Devil Emperor was already at the first scene at that time. He didn't know which direction we would go. He was hiding there for other purposes. Can it be said that one or both of Huasu and Yu Yan were trapped near that location, and the Black Mountain Devil Emperor was going to attack with that treasure? However, we all checked there with our mind and found nothing. Yan Zhongkai said blankly. Yi Tian shook his head gently and said, "Some fairyland can't be detected by divine thoughts, but by eyes. However, in that case, the cicada should be able to sense the smell of the treasure." Yan Zhongkai asked suspiciously. Yi Tian shook his head again. "If you use a special field, you can also isolate the breath, but you may not be able to sense it, but you can't sense it too far away. In any case, you should search near the previous position. Even if you run in vain, you can't make a mistake. Everything is arranged by the palace master." Yan Zhongkai nodded. At this time, he felt that his knowledge in some aspects was much worse than Yi Tian.
Cicada, continue to feel the breath.
Yi Tian gave a voice to the cicada, and then flew to the place where the treasure smell was first found. Although Yi Tian felt a little sorry that the demon shield ran away, as long as the demon was in the demon world, he couldn't be free all the time. If you use your mind from a distance, it's hard to detect if the other party's invisibility is very good. Only use the source heavenly eye, but the other party will not give himself this opportunity. It seems that if you want to catch the demon cultivation suspected of Black Mountain Demon Emperor, you can only be invisible to invisible. Thinking so, Yi Tianyuan's heavenly eyes shone through and carefully observed the situation around him. At this time, he was only less than 4,000 miles away from the place where he had found the treasure breath before. God's mind and the source of heaven's eyes will shine through, and all fantasies will have nowhere to hide. Master, I found the smell of that treasure again. During the search, the cicada suddenly sent a divine voice to Yi Tian. Don't expose the fact that you found each other, and don't have any strange expression. The voice of God tells me the general location and how far it is from here. It's on our left side, nearly 50,000 li. The breath of the treasure has just entered the sensing range of the disciple and is moving here.
The speed is not very fast, the cicada immediately replied. Well, tell me when it's 40,000 miles away. Yi Tian said as he continued to fly forward. His face didn't change at all. He didn't even turn his head and look to the left. As before, he seemed to explore the front carefully. Okay, master, I hope I can catch the treasure this time, the cicada said, and then didn't speak again. In fact, Yi Tian wants to be invisible to catch the demon cultivation now, but if he is invisible, the other party will be able to detect it. Maybe it will scare the snake. More than 10 minutes later, the cicada sent a message to Yi Tian again, it's 40,000 miles away from us. Yi Tian heard that there was no change in his mood, but continued to explore for a distance. Then he said to Yan Zhongkai and others, I'll enter the cave for a moment, and you'll wait here for the moment. Naturally, all the people agreed. When Yi Tian landed and took out the magic weapon, after entering the cave, they guarded around the cave and protected Yi Tian's dharma. Although they didn't know what Yi Tian was going to do when he entered the magic weapon cave, the palace leader always acted mysteriously. It was natural for them to go in at this time, so they wouldn't ask more. Cicada, I'll send you to Zumaji and Hai to catch the treasure. Tell me what he's doing at any time when entering the magic weapon cave, Yi Tian said to Cicada's mind. At this time, he was very cautious. He didn't use Ming language in the magic weapon cave. Okay. The cicada agreed and felt some faint excitement in her heart. This kind of thing is actually very exciting. She is a green charm, not a real monk, and will not be affected in the Shumi precepts. She can promise that the treasures in the Shumi precepts will naturally be in the Shumi precepts, and can also feel the breath of the outside world through the Shumi precepts. At the next moment, Yi Tian cleaned up and sent the cicada into Shumi ring. Then he took out the 5 element beads and sent out a small circle of light, but his body passed through the light and entered the ground. He urged the 5 element beads for a very short time and moved very quickly. It was almost completed in an instant, and the light was at the bottom of the magic weapon cave, which was in close contact with the ground. Even Yin Yunyang and others outside the magic weapon cave were not aware of it. Deep underground, Yi Tian sneaked for more than 10 miles before stopping. Cicada, feel it again. When he was underground, Yi Tianchen thought into Zumaji and asked. Master, the breath of the treasure is gone and has escaped from my induction. The cicada's divine voice came into Yi Tian's ears from Shumi ring. So cautious? As soon as Yi Tian's momentum was released, he felt sick in his heart and entered the magic weapon cave again along the original road. This was a failed sneak attack that ended before it started. Unexpectedly, the demon cultivation was so careful that he disappeared from the other party's mind. No matter what he did, even if he entered the magic weapon cave, the other party immediately ran away. This kind of magic cultivation is the most difficult to deal with. Up to now, Yi Tian is more and more sure that the demon cultivation must be the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. A demon emperor who controls such a big demon world can't have a long life if he only has high cultivation. Perhaps only the Black Mountain Demon Emperor can have such a cautious style of action. In the memory of the shadowless Demon Emperor, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor is the most mysterious. After a brief analysis, Tian thought of the reason why the Black Mountain Demon Emperor fled. Because I have exposed the 5 element beads before, whether from the space channel of the Eye of the Demon World, through the warning field, or in the Dreamland field, directly through the 5 element beads. They all use 5 elements of beads. With the cautious character of the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, we should be able to think that since this 5 element pearl can pass through the field shield, it should also pass through the magic weapon cave. However, Tian thought about it carefully. Although the 5 element beads were exposed, his recovery of invisibility should not have been exposed. Now it seems that this is definitely his biggest killer mace. We must not expose it until we capture the Black Mountain Demon Emperor. Thinking so, Tian released the cicada from the magic weapon cave. The little girl, Cicada, also had a touch of disappointment on her face and looked a little unhappy with her small mouth. Cicada, when you grow up, Shifu will refine a beauty pill for you, so that your appearance will always be fixed at the most beautiful time. At that time, you won't have to comb such a towering brush. In order to make the cicada's expression more natural, Tian said with a smile. I hope this can make the cicada happy. It's the kind of happiness from the heart. Otherwise, even if a trace is seen by the Black Mountain Demon Emperor, he may find something. Sure enough, when Tian said this, he no longer pursed his lips, but said with a smile, Master is what he says. I not only have to refine Juyendan for my disciples, but also have long hair and perm. The last sentence almost made Tian fall over. How did this girl become so fashionable? Thanks to her ability to think of it, she still needs a perm? Okay, whatever you like, but Tian's purpose is to make the cicada happy. He should come down first. It's very kind of you, Master. The cicada said with a smile. The unhappiness of the treasure slipping away again immediately disappeared. Well, let's go out. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Tian led the cicada out of the magic weapon cave, hit the magic weapon cave with a magic power, and earned Shumi Ring. Things have been done. Continue to check. Tian said casually and continued to fly forward with the cicada. All the way, the cicada paid attention to the smell of the treasure. Unfortunately, up to now, nearly an hour later, the smell of the treasure has never appeared again. At this time, Tian suddenly stopped, looked at a dark mountain in front, and his eyes flashed. Tian's eyes shone through. He found that the mountain peak did not really exist. The whole mountain peak seemed to be empty, as if there was a sense of spatial distortion. He continued to use Yuan Tianyan and looked inside the sacred wind field. Space Magic Array Field. When he saw the situation inside, he couldn't help but rejoice. The Huasu and Yu Yen he is looking for are all in this magic array field. In addition to the 2 heavenly palace realm powers, Tian also saw 22 demons shrouded in black. In the magic array, Huasu and Yu Yen seemed to be watching carefully. They were only about 5 or 6 feet apart, but they were walking an extremely strange route. Take a few left and right steps inside, up and down, even if they walk diagonally opposite, they don't seem to see each other. Don't say hello to each other, even the most basic eye contact doesn't exist. The situation is like that of Wu Song and Sun Ernyang in the Cross Slope Opera. But those demons were much more clever. They were distributed in such a large space and did not move, just like the hunters lying in ambush waiting for their prey to bite. Tian immediately understood that this field, like his previously trapped field, has space folding. Huasu and Yu Yen didn't know where they were, and they had already lost their way inside. Those evil practitioners wanted to take this opportunity to attack secretly. Naturally, it is not easy to sneak attack in the field. Only when the other party happens to come to him can he take a surprise shot. It seems that Demon Shio had several failed sneak attacks. Somewhere in the field, Tian saw 4 Demon Shio lying on the ground. They were already in a different place. They looked like they had fallen. There is a lot of space in the mountain fantasy. Tian can judge from the cautious situation of Huasu and Yu Yen that even if those demons want to ambush them, I'm afraid it's not so easy. It is certain that they will not succeed in a short time. After being attacked by evil cultivation, they will naturally be more cautious. After seeing the situation inside, Tian didn't hurry in. He looked at the area outside the mountain with his eyes from heaven. Suddenly, when his eyes penetrated a huge rock, he saw two demons hiding behind the rock. From each other's illusory figure, we can see that the two magicians are invisible and hiding. Tian took back his eyes as if nothing had happened, as if he had never seen the two people. However, the next moment, he gestured, and the golden light of mountains and rivers flashed over the big stone. "Go, soul-searching!" Tian immediately shouted. Yan Zhongkai and Lingming Stone Monkey knew at this time that there was a demon cultivation behind the boulder. Between their bodies, they had reached the back of the boulder. These two demons are quite clever in hiding their breath. They even hide a lot of exploration of gods. However, under the suppression of mountain and river seals, mana can no longer operate, and naturally it is impossible to maintain their invisibility. Yan Zhongkai and Lingming Stone Monkey gestured to contact each other. First, they abandoned the cultivation accomplishments of two demon practitioners, and then they pressed on the head of one demon practitioner to start soul-searching. The two demons didn't expect to hide so secretly. They even carried these human friars to control them. The color on their face was suddenly darker. When Yan Zhongkai and Lingming Stone Monkey were searching for souls, Tian was not idle and was still checking near the peak. He knew very well that outside the magic array field, there could be no nether cultivation, but he could not judge how many nether cultivation there were. He looked around the dreamland carefully and found no other demon cultivation. Even cicadas are involved. The cicada can recognize the breath of treasures. Ordinary treasures are generally not in her eyes, but it doesn't mean she can't recognize ordinary treasures. Tianyuan's heavenly eyes shone through. The cicada sensed the breath of the treasure. They checked it together and confirmed that there was no more demon monk nearby, so they stopped. After finding Huasu and Yuyan, Tian's heart was relieved. He looked at the magic array field with his heavenly eyes, waiting for the soul-searching results of Yan Zhongkai and Lingming Stone Monkey. In such a tight time situation, the two people naturally did not start searching for memories when these demons were just born, but focused on searching for souls for nearly a month or so. Soon, Lingming Stone Monkey took the lead in checking the memory of one of the magicians and came to Tian Grandmaster. This man is called Wuxiu Devil Emperor. This magic array field is co-chaired by him and Nanfu Devil Emperor. I have contracted to the method of closing and opening this magic array. Do you want to close this magic array field and release Huasu and Yuyan? Yes, what Lingming said is completely true, and so is the result of soul searching from Nanfu Magic Emperor. At this time, Yan Zhongkai also came over and nodded slightly. Tian smiled and waved his hand. There's no need to remove the field. There are 22 demons there. It's rare to have such a chance, so we killed them all in the field. Palace leader, I learned from the soul searching that all the demons in it are the realm of the Devil Emperor, and the number is not 22, but 26. Yan Zhongkai said hurriedly. Grandmaster, the result of my soul searching is the same. There are 26 demon emperors in it. Lingming Stone Monkey confirmed nearby. Yes, there are 26, but 4 of them are dead and 22 are still alive. Wait outside. I can go in alone. Cicada, you can continue to check your breath here. Tian slightly explained a few words and gave an instruction to Cicada. Yuan Tian's eyes shone through, looked at the field again, and then urged the 5 element beads. In the misty halo, the body flashed into the mountain fantasy. Outside the dreamland field, Tian can see the situation in the field, but in the field, Yuan Tian Eye has lost its function. At this time, the dreamland he saw was no longer a boundless architectural community, but a boundless forest. Countless tall trees are scattered and spread in all directions. And those trees are extremely thick, as big as houses, with dense branches and leaves, up to more than 100 feet high. This kind of scene can't be seen outside the dreamland. At this time, in addition to countless trees, there was no demon show in his area, and the figures of Huasu and Yuyan did not appear in sight. This phenomenon is completely expected by Tian. There are many spaces in the field, and each space is very wide. If you are lucky, you can see 1 or 2 people, but if you are unlucky, you can't see anyone. It's normal.
As soon as Yi Tianlu observed the situation around him, he gestured.
The mountain and river prints were placed in an instant.
Countless tall trees around him were like nothingness. In an enlarged instant, he passed through those tall trees and placed them in a radius of 40 or 50 mu. Then Yi Tian saw a strange scene.
Mountain and river seals are interspersed with trees.
They look like entities, as if mountain and river seals were chiseled into trees, and as if many trees were inlaid with mountain and river seals. All the trees are illusory, but they are so real to the naked eye, even to the eyes of Yuan Tian. Yi Tian is very clear that these illusory trees may have entered different spaces by one step, but it has become very difficult to return to the original space.
Hua Su and Yu Yan must be for this reason.
They explored separately and lost themselves in different spaces. However, he mastered the method of entering and leaving the dreamland field, and could get out of the dreamland in any space. Therefore, he was the king and had no scruples. At the next moment, he stepped on the mountain and river seal and flew quickly in the boundless forest. The mountain and river seal passed through the real shadow of countless trees like lightning. Suddenly, Yi Tian's mind moved, and the mountain and river seal in the rapid flight suddenly stopped.
Just now, Shanhian passed through a big tree.
In the empty space in front of him, a demon cultivation suddenly appeared. Under the suppression of Shanhian, the demon Xiao had a creepy look on his face, but his body really couldn't move at all.
First, Yi Tian murmured and gestured to kill the demon Xiao.
After putting away the man's magic weapon and Xiumi ring, Yi Tian drives the mountain and river seal again, flying aimlessly and in all directions. On the contrary, without using the magic weapon of small mirror, he just wants to distinguish the direction, but he can't do it. In this dreamland field, the boundary between one space and another space may be a tree or half a tree.
It may also be the gap between trees. In short, any place may be the junction of space.
Even a short flight is likely to travel through multiple layers of space.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, the speed of mountain and river printing is fast enough. Even a blind cat can kill a mouse. Yi Tian thought so, but he didn't meet anyone in the next half hour.
There are endless forests everywhere.
There are tall trees everywhere. Yi Tian began to speed up and doubled the speed of the magic weapon of mountain and river printing, just like a flash of light shuttling through the boundless forest. His mind is also in a tense state. As long as he is a little distracted, he will miss it in a flash even if he meets Demon Xiao or Hua Su and Yu Yan. Because the speed is too fast, you may enter another layer of space in a twinkling of an eye, and then pass by, missing in the vast sea of trees. However, the efficiency of this method is really high. A few minutes later, Yi Tianchen, who was in an extremely tense state, moved again, and Shanhian suddenly stopped.
Another demon was suppressed under the mountain and river seal.
No surprise, under the power of mountain and river seal, any demon emperor is helpless and can't escape.
Second, after killing the demon emperor, Yi Tian continued his boundless journey.
In this case, it also takes luck to find people.
This time, Yi Tian was lucky.
In less than 5 minutes, he saw Hua Su.
Shanhian suddenly stopped and stopped less than 3 feet from Hua Su.
At the moment when this huge thing suddenly appeared, Hua Su suddenly turned around and looked like she was waiting in full readiness. When she saw that it was Yi Tianji, she cheered and wanted to fly over.
Don't move. Yi Tian suddenly drank, and Hua Su quickly stabilized his body. As expected, he didn't take another step. In this dreamland, there are many folded spaces. Maybe the short distance between you and me has multi-layer space. It seems that you fly directly, but you may disappear in front of me because you enter another space. Yi Tian hurriedly explained. Sure enough, this is the case. I had this guess before, otherwise there wouldn't be so many strange situations. By the way, Ancestral Master, Yu Yan came in with me, but now we have lost and haven't seen him again. Hua Su thought of Yu Yan and said quickly. I already know that there are many demons here. Kill the demons with me and look for Yu Yan while killing. Follow the light, don't deviate, and then you can reach me. Yi Tian said. The magic weapon of the small mirror in his hand had been excited and a white light brush was emitted.
In this space, it turns into strange light tracks. Yi Tian constantly adjusted the angle of the small mirror. After a long time, the light finally shone on Huasu, but the pipeline between them turned 7 or 8 turns to completely connect the space between them.
Well, you can start. Yi Tian finally said with a relaxed look.
It turned out like this. Master Kuei thought of this way. At this time, Huasu had understood the principle of getting out of the dreamland and couldn't help sighing heartily. He was trapped in the dreamland for so many times that he never found a way to leave the field. Finally, Yi Tian came to save him. Think about it, I have some shame in my heart.
The next thing became very simple.
She walked step by step along the light emitted by the magic weapon of the small mirror. Finally, more than 10 minutes later, she came to Yi Tian, and then she jumped to the mountain and river seal.
Your accomplishments, master?
Huasu was stunned when he sensed the breath of Yi Tian from a close distance. At this time, Yi Tian's breath is much stronger than her.
The pressure from the strong makes her feel extremely odd. Once in a while, you can break through again. Yi Tian said with a smile.
In the face of Yi Tian's reply, Huasu felt speechless for a while.
When she first met Yi Tian was just a teenager in the cave territory.
She also said that when Yi Tian arrived in the Golden Elixir territory, she could give the second half of the idea of Sui Huangguan. However, according to her calculation, the mirage will appear once every 50 years. 50 years later, according to Yi Tian's current cultivation achievements and her inferred cultivation speed, it should be possible to reluctantly cultivate to the Golden Elixir realm. At that time, handing over the lower half of the idea of Sui Wang Temple to Yi Tian may bring a glimmer of hope to the Kunlun people. At that time, she could also give the second half of Yi Tiansui's view, but she didn't do that. Because she is not sure whether Yi Tian has the ability to inherit the idea of Sui Wang Temple. If Yi Tian's cultivation speed is too slow, Yi Tianing will not produce a golden pill when the next mirage opens, and naturally the idea of Sui Wang Temple will not spread. If Yi Tianfu had a small life, if she gave him the lower part of the idea of Sui Wang Temple too early, so that she fell into the hands of evil people and brought disaster to the world, it was not what she wanted to see. Naturally, these thoughts of hers will not be expressed to Yi Tian. However, she has done what she should do for the love of the younger generation of Kunlun nationality.
Everything else can only depend on how Yi Tian does.
However, it was such a situation that Yi Tian, who met her occasionally, reached such a high level a few years later. It took only a few years from the cave realm to the peak of the heavenly palace realm. This is absolutely unique and beyond any great power since ancient times. Most importantly, he is only in his 20s, and his future achievements are simply unpredictable. If he doesn't fall halfway, with his almost infinite life, he has a great chance to become the Lord of the Fairyland after flying to the Fairyland. However, he is Kunlun Xiu, a Kunlun nationality who came out of the Earth Star. This glory, the unprecedented glory of the Kunlun nationality, was something she dared not think of before. However, with such cultivation speed and attainments, Yi Tian unexpectedly said that he occasionally obtained opportunities. If it wasn't for the chance against the sky, he couldn't reach such a degree at all. But Huasu knew very well that opportunity was also a part of strength. How many opportunities are fought, robbed, or even exchanged for a narrow life? Those who have great opportunities are those who have great wisdom, great perseverance, and great mind.
Congratulations, Grandmaster.
The breakthrough of Grandmaster is really the joy of the whole Kunlun family. Thinking so, Huasu respectfully saluted Yi Tian. Yi Tian smiled, waved his hand and said, "This opportunity has also been reserved for you. Whether the opportunity is big or small depends on your fate." As he spoke, Yi Tian took out the Honghuang Buddhist beads, held them in his hand and continued to say to Huasu, "Feel the light emitted from the beads with your heart until the mana in your body is no longer increased." There should be such a magical treasure. With a few words from Yi Tian, Huasu had understood what this opportunity was. This round bead that seemed to have nothing special had the magic power to increase people's mana? If so, this treasure is too rebellious. Well, here we go. There's only one chance. Yi Tian said, but he began to urge the Honghuang Brahma beads. He was also a little puzzled. Mingming Daydream Fancy said that every friar had only one chance to get the power of famine, but he got it twice. Even because of the magic weapon of the round bead, it is really against common sense.
Don't the great dream Fanzi know that he can absorb the power of 2 times in this way? Yi Tian doesn't know this problem. I can only sigh at the bottom of my heart that my chance is really too big.
Driven by the Buddhist beads, a soft yellow light came out and shrouded Huasu. Huasu only felt that her mana was growing rapidly, and the speed was so fast that she was shocked. At a certain moment, her body was shocked, and her vast magic power directly broke through the barriers in the middle of Tiangong territory and officially entered the middle of Tiangong territory.
Until then, the growth rate of mana slowed down until it finally stopped completely.
Grandmaster, I have entered the middle of the heavenly palace.
I can put away the beads.
Now there is no increase in mana. Huasu said when he was sure that there is no increase in mana. Well, congratulations to Huasu, the realm is further. Yi Tian nodded with a smile, and his heart was full of joy.
Thank you for your gift.
Huasu quickly saluted and thanked him, then mobilized his mind and began to check his mana. This is the first time she has made a breakthrough in this way, and it is a small realm of the heavenly palace. Naturally, she is very curious.
After some inspection, she suddenly looked up at Yi Tian, her grandmaster. Do I have any illusion?
How do I feel that the current mana is not only much purer than before, but also has a touch of gold?
Golden? Wasn't your mana golden before? Yi Tian asked in amazement. Isn't your mana golden after cultivating the idea of Sui Wang view?
No, mine is not gold.
Is the ancestor a golden mana? Huashu asked in amazement. Yi Tian pondered and said, I see.
The idea of the Sui Wang temple you practiced before was only a draft created by the Sui Wang temple, and I first practiced it. Later, after I joined the Sui Wang temple passed me the original. Although there seems to be little difference between the two, there is a big difference in essence. You and I have never discussed the idea of the Sui Wang temple, and the result appeared this is the case. There's such a thing.
Sui Huang didn't know about the original and draft of Sui Huang's view until now.
He was surprised when he heard the speech. At this time, while talking with Huasu, Yi Tian also thought to check his magic power. He was shocked to find that the mana on his body was only light yellow before, but now it has indeed turned golden.
Moreover, their own mana is much purer than before. Have you absorbed the power of famine, and even the quality of your own mana has been improved? Yi Tianxin couldn't help thinking about it secretly.
It was the first time for him to enter the heavenly palace, and Huasu fell from the heavenly palace and then practiced in the heavenly palace. Naturally, he had much more mana for this realm than himself. Moreover, originally Huashu was in the middle of Tiangong, but now it has broken through from the early stage of Tiangong to the middle stage of Tiangong. There is a very specific comparison between the mana of the two heavenly palaces. While Yi Tian was thinking, Huasu said again, as the master said, it should be so.
This is the different color of mana. The golden mana is more pure than the white mana, but I vaguely feel that there is an extremely strong breath in the current mana. Yi Tian naturally found this feeling.
He just thought it was a natural breath after he entered the peak of the heavenly palace. But now it seems that this is not the case.
Is this breath the power of the wilderness? It seems that I have to feel my mana more in the future.
I suddenly become so powerful, but I haven't checked my mana yet. Huasu, when this happens, I'll pass on the original idea of your Sui Huang temple. Even if you practice in the heavenly palace, it's not too late to change it.
Maybe there's an unexpected surprise. Now is not the time to teach Kung Fu.
Yi Tian put away the Honghuang Fanju and said to Huasu, there are still many demons in this dreamland field.
We must speed up.
Since Yi Tian said so, Huasu had no opinion. According to Yi Tian's instructions, she stepped on the mountain and river seal, stood beside Yi Tian, and let Yi Tian drive the mountain and river seal to fly away quickly in the distance. Grandmaster, I didn't expect you to be so proficient in the magic array, so familiar with the road, and so fast to drive the mountain and river seal. I was not affected by the illusion. Before, I was attacked by 3 powerful monks in the illusion. After that, I was very careful and cautious in every step. I didn't expect that flying at such a speed is so comfortable here.
The mountains and rivers were printed on it.
Because there were leaves and mountains and rivers, Huashu relaxed a lot inside more.
Yi Tian secretly said in his heart, I'm familiar with the road.
Isn't this a blind man riding a blind horse and looking for it by mistake?
But he can't say that. In that case, what's the face of being an ancestor? He just smiled and said, in fact, the size of this fantasy has completely exceeded your imagination. The best answer is to avoid answering. However, Huasu didn't realize this at all. She continued to ask, Grandmaster, do you want to find Yu Yan first, or kill the devil first? Yi Tian's reaction was also very fast.
He calculated the probability at once. There were still 20 remaining magic practitioners, and Yu Yan had only one at best. The chances of meeting Ma Xiao and Yu Yan are 20 and 1 respectively.
Demon repair. Yi Tian immediately replied.
However, as soon as his voice fell, Yu Yingstone suddenly appeared in front of the mountain and river.
Demon Xiao is not in a hurry. It's important to find his own people first. Yu Yan, don't move, wait for me to pick you up.
Yi Tian felt that this scene was good, hurriedly changed his mouth, and then said to Yu Yan, Palace Master, I miss you so much. Yu Yan really stood in place and confessed to Yi Tian, I miss the Palace Master deeply every moment here.
Yi Tian couldn't laugh or cry and said loudly, well, you ever-changing devil, your appearance has changed, and your temper has changed? Stand there and pick you up on the boat immediately.
As he spoke, Yi Tian urged again, like a mirror magic weapon, and began to adjust the light.
The Grandmaster is really powerful. I haven't met Yu Yan for so long.
The Grandmaster came forward and found it in a moment, which really impressed the disciples.
Huasu said with emotion. What can Yi Tian say? He didn't say anything.
He had the cheek to accept the praise and finally shone the light of the small mirror on Yu Yan. A moment later, Yu Yan also boarded the mountain and river seal.
Palace Master, this forest is so strange. It's such a dreamland that people collapse. Yu Yan sighed. How did you get here after you left the magic fire city? Yi Tian asked at this time.
Huasu looked at Yu Yan and looked like he wanted to talk and stop. Yu Yan hesitated and said, at that time, a demon monk changed into me.
I saw that this man was so ugly, didn't it damage my image?
So I killed the demon monk, but the demon monk didn't take the move, turned and left, and I chased after him. Taoist Huasu was worried that I suffered a loss, so he followed me, and finally entered this dreamland. Hearing this reason, Yi Tian felt angry and funny, but it was inconvenient to blame too much. In short, it would be good to come back safely.
Since this dreamland makes you feel broken, don't regenerate demons. I'll take you to visit this dreamland to see how big it is. It's good to get rid of demons and have a good mind.
Yi Tian said, his mind moved, and a magic force hit the mountain and river seal, urging the mountain and river seal to flee away quickly in the distance. The two great powers in the heavenly palace have met.
The next step is to kill those demons.
Yi Tian is not sure how long it will take to find all those demons. He simply finds an excuse and begins to search in the dreamland.
Palace leader, Taoist friend Huasu, what are your accomplishments?
Yu Yan finally found the changes in the breath of Yi Tian and Huasu, and asked in amazement. Yi Tian smiled calmly and said, the changeable demon king, now you are the only one of the 8 heavenly palace realm powers in the Maitreya palace, and the other powers are at least the middle of the heavenly palace realm.
How could it be? It was the early days of the heavenly palace before. It was just a short time ago. How could you break so fast again? Yu Yan asked in amazement. Huasu smiled without saying anything.
He knew that Yi Tianxia must have something to say to Yu Yan, so he looked lively on one side.
Sure enough, Yi Tian continued, don't you believe what the palace leader said?
Those who are not reckless now have reached the middle of the heavenly palace. Those who are reckless still stop. Yu Yan knew that he and Huasu were lost. Yi Tian must be very worried, but Huasu followed him because he was worried about his safety. In other words, the responsibility for being trapped in a dreamland lies entirely with him. He could see from Yi Tian's expression that the Maitreya palace had not suffered any loss because of his recklessness, and it seemed that his mistake was not so serious. If you really destroy the grand plan of the palace leader because of your own thought, then your responsibility is really difficult to elude. Tian is criticizing himself by this matter.
Palace leader, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't be angry at that time.
I did such immature things, which led to the trick of demon cultivation. I should get together with the palace leader and others and discuss countermeasures together.
I will remember this mistake all my life.
Yuyan bowed his head and said in a heavy voice.
Well, since you realize your fault, you will be given a chance.
Then Tian stopped in Shanhe and said, the opportunity can be given to you or withdrawn.
If there is such a thing in the future, I won't show you mercy.
In a word, Tian cleaned up and urged the desolate Buddhist beads to emit a misty yellow light again. Yuyan quickly collected his mind and felt the light. Like Hua Su, he also sensed that his mana was growing rapidly. In the end, he also successfully broke through to the middle state of the heavenly palace. When Tian put away the Wanhuang Buddhist beads, Yuyan felt the change of his strength and bowed deeply to Tian. Thank you for the great kindness of the palace master. Yuyan will focus on the overall situation, live and die for the Maitreya palace and the palace master in the future.
Well, this is the case for the time being. It won't happen again. Tian waved his hand and began to control Shanhe and fly quickly.
Those demons who entered the dreamland field did not know their respective positions and knew nothing about what happened in the dreamland. What they have to do is wait for the hare, and then give them a thunderbolt when Hua Su and Yuyan suddenly appear. What Tian has to do now is to find these people and kill them.
This is a matter of luck.
His luck was not good, but it was not bad. It took him almost 2 days to finally find the remaining magic cultivation in such a large fantasy field and kill them all. Although it took some time, Tian was very excited to kill so many demon emperors in such a simple and dangerous way. Through the magic weapon of a small mirror and using the 5 element beads, Tian came out of the dreamland field and joined Lingming Stone Monkey and others again. Naturally, the two sides had a good exchange of greetings. Tian asked the cicada and knew that she could no longer feel the smell of the treasure. This event is enough to show that the Black Mountain Demon Emperor should know the situation here and completely give up the 22 demon emperors. In order to keep himself, he didn't get close to himself.
What shall we do next?
Tian simply told Huashu and Yuyan about their action.
Huashu asked briefly.
According to the previous method, with the cooperation of the Divine Mind Search and the cicada, you can inquire everywhere in the demon world. All the demons you encounter are killed and all the demon cities you have passed are destroyed.
Tian said with a cold light in his eyes. Naturally, everyone has no opinion.
Since we can't find the Lord for the time being, we'll kill him while looking for him. Therefore, the party embarked on a journey of destruction to the demon world. The 7 great powers of the heavenly palace swept all the way madly. Everywhere they passed, the magic city was destroyed, and countless demons were killed. The demon world is eating its own evil fruit and suffering from the crazy counterattack of the Terran. Somewhere in the demon world, in a spacious secret room, a tall demon monk surrounded by black fog was standing on the ground with an extremely respectful expression. Opposite him, there was a demon monk with the same height. They were both shrouded in black fog and couldn't see their faces clearly. The magician sitting here didn't speak, and the standing magician stood there all the time without daring to say another word.
Until a long time later, the sitting demon monk suddenly sighed and said, "You are disappointing me.
Several human friars have made such a mess in the demon world. You are helpless. The great emperor, it's not that we are incompetent. It's those human friars who are too powerful and have 8 great powers in the heavenly palace.
The standing demon monk is no one else. It's the Black Mountain Demon Emperor that Tian is looking for."
He tried his best to explain when he heard the accusation of the ancient demon emperor.
Enough!
The ancient demon emperor suddenly shouted angrily, and his voice became more severe. Even if those 8 are all human beings' heaven palace realm power, how many devil emperors are there in the devil world?
Don't you know? I lent you all the devil cones, but you didn't use them once, so you came back to see me?
Have you tried once?
How can you know if you haven't tried once?
Also, you said that the Terran friar has the invisible magic power. I lent you the archaic magic bead and detonated the thunder sky array at such a high price.
The Terran Friar's invisible magic power has been broken, but look, what's the result? The Black Mountain Demon Emperor bowed his head, listened to the accusations of the ancient Demon Emperor, and didn't answer immediately.
Until the ancient Demon Emperor was almost angry, he said, "The Great Emperor, it's not that we are incompetent or dare not use the magic cone. Those human friars are injured. One of them looks like the mountain and river seal of the Sui Emperor, and the other looks like the Hou-Yi Bao of the Sui Emperor. I'm worried that the Great Emperor's magic cone is lost. I'm in careful consideration and didn't use this treasure. Although the magic array is extremely powerful, it was broken by those human friars. I also deeply regret the heavy losses in the world."
Do you mean that the mountain and river seal of the Flint Emperor and the Hou-Yi Bao have reappeared? When the ancient Demon Emperor heard the speech, he suddenly looked too much at the Black Mountain Emperor, and there was a moment of surprise in his eyes. Those two magic weapons are extremely powerful and surpass ordinary magic weapons. We just make this guess.
As for whether they are or not, we can't finally confirm them until we get them. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor bowed his head and said that in the ancient Demon Emperor, he, who has always been domineering, was so respectful.
It's impossible.
I once searched the soul of the Flint Emperor. Even the Flint Emperor didn't know where the two fairies were left.
How could all of them be obtained by the human friars?
If there were similar magic weapons, they would probably be imitated, the ancient Demon Emperor said very definitely. As for who these human friars are, have you ever investigated them? The ancient devil continued. Only one of them is Hua Su, the ancestor of Kunlun, whispered the Black Mountain Demon Emperor.
He was made like this by others. However, he didn't know the exact information of the other party.
He felt that he couldn't make sense.
However, just before the invasion of the Earth Star, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor didn't pay attention to the Earth Star at all.
In his opinion, as long as the Blood Oath time came, the devil practiced on the Earth Star and occupied the whole Earth Star is only a matter of minutes, and it is impossible to even encounter too fierce resistance. The fact is that the other party not only blocked their attack, the first group of more than 80,000 demon elites who launched the attack were wiped out, and the other party now took the initiative to break into the demon world and kill countless demon families. Now, they are still slaughtering wantonly in the demon world.
Many demon families die every minute and every second, and the demon city may be destroyed.
In the past mentality, how could such a confident Black Mountain devil investigate the strength of Earthstar in advance? Now, the passive situation is irreversible. He wants to investigate, but he has no way to start.
Waste. You are really a bunch of waste.
When the ancient Demon Emperor said this, he didn't get angry. He just snorted coldly. He spoke very slowly and gently, but the dissatisfaction in his voice was very obvious.
I don't even know who the other party is. First, I don't know the information, second, I evade the timid war, and third, I don't command well. Montenegro, are you too disappointing?
Great Emperor, I made a mistake, but the fundamental reason was that the human friars were too strong. How could the Black Mountain Demon Emperor admit that it was his own fault that caused today's situation?
He was still trying to explain. What do you mean by coming to see me today? Do you want to invite me? The ancient Demon Emperor snorted coldly and asked discontentedly. I dare not.
Heishan Emperor hurriedly said, I just want to use the two magic puppets of the Great Emperor to see the Great Emperor this time, and then ask the Great Emperor to break the magic weapon that can suppress mana and has gravity field of human friars.
What method can I use instead? Magic puppet? You have the idea of playing magic puppet?
You know, you need fairy magic crystal to drive the magic puppet. When I return from the fairyland, the fairy magic crystal I carry has consumed little.
Do you still need magic puppets to deal with several human friars?
Even if one of these magic puppets can sweep all over the world, you can borrow both, the ancient magic emperor asked somewhat unexpectedly. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor hurriedly said, Great Emperor, there is a monk in his 20s who only knows what palace mastery is.
The specific situation is unknown.
Although he is very young, he has reached the peak of heaven.
Nonsense. When the Black Mountain Demon Emperor said this, the ancient Demon Emperor suddenly shouted, Do you deceive me with such words? When you were in your 20s, you reached the peak of the heavenly palace? Even if you were 200, it would be impossible. Are you stupid, Black Mountain, or do you think I'm stupid? Emperor, I dare not lie at all. You see, this is the image I left with sunglasses.
I'm afraid the Emperor doesn't believe it and deliberately left this person's appearance. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor said, gesturing, and a black crystal appeared out of thin air, standing in the secret room.
As the Black Mountain Demon Emperor hit the black crystal with a mana, a picture immediately appeared on it. It is exactly the situation that Tian used the mountain and river seal to suppress the two evil emperors behind the big stone before entering the environmental field to rescue Hua Su and Yu Yan.
Emperor, please look, this is this person. This person has not only entered the peak of the heavenly palace, but also has extremely strong mind, and can see through invisibility. The magic weapon of the big seal released is the mountain and river seal, I suspect. When the ancient demon emperor finished reading, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor quickly explained.
Look again.
Unexpectedly, the ancient devil did not express any opinion after reading it, but urged it again.
Okay. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor was a little surprised. He didn't say much. He hit the magic crystal again and played the picture again. Yes, it's him. It's really him.
After reading it, the ancient demon emperor murmured.
Does the great emperor recognize this young man? The Black Mountain Devil asked in surprise. Didn't the ancient demon emperor ridicule the Black Mountain Emperor with a gun and a stick?
He just whispered, as I said just now, I once searched the remnant soul of the Flint Emperor and got a pitiful little memory. 3 years ago, there was a man monk who entered the field of the eye of the demon world. It was this young man. At that time, he should only have the cultivation of viewing the sea.
Ah, that's just the sea viewing realm?
Doesn't it mean that in only 3 years, he trained to the Heaven Palace realm, said the Black Mountain Demon Emperor in surprise.
I believe what you said. This young man's name is Tian. The Flint Emperor once preached his idea of Samadhi, true fire, and the Flint Emperor's view.
Unexpectedly, he has grown to this point in just 3 years. No matter what the Flint Emperor preached to him, even the Flint Emperor himself can never do this, murmured the ancient Demon Emperor. This man has such amazing talent and powerful means.
What should we do? Otherwise, make peace with him? Let's make a blood oath again.
I don't know what the great emperor wants, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor said in a deep voice.
Heishan, you disappoint me more and more.
Are you afraid of Tian when you say such spineless words? The voice of the ancient demon emperor suddenly raised a few points and scolded. The great emperor calms down his anger.
Montenegro doesn't mean that. Montenegro only considers the long-term interests of the demon world.
Since even the ancient demon emperor has no way to take him, let's calm down and try to make peace, the Black Mountain Demon Emperor quickly explained.
Heishan, you don't need to excite me with such words. I'll help you if you should.
But since you're in charge of the plan of the demon world, you should really consider it. This Tian grows so fast that it's beyond everyone's imagination. Even though I knew his existence when I searched the memory of Emperor Sui, I didn't pay attention to it at all. He's already heaven now, the peak of the palace, in time, is the second Flint Emperor.
People and demons have never been two sides since ancient times.
If you don't kill him while he hasn't become a big climate, do you want to let him fly to the fairy world, and then the fairy world fight against the demon family elders in the fairy world? The ancient demon emperor was very dissatisfied and said coldly, moreover, there is hatred between the demon world and the Kunlun Huashu.
Do you think you can make peace if you want to make peace?
Or give up the idea as soon as possible and I'll help you find a way.
Everything depends on the emperor's arrangement.
Montenegro saw that the ancient demon emperor finally heard what he wanted, and his heart was immediately fixed, but on the surface, he said very respectfully. The Dharma doesn't spread 6 ears.
Next, I want to spread the sound. You should keep it in mind. You naturally know what to do.
When the ancient demon emperor said that, he really told him to use the divine idea. He didn't stop the voice until more than 10 minutes later. He bent his fingers and shot a Zumaji at the Black Mountain Demon Emperor.
Everything is inside. I hope you don't let me down this time. The Black Mountain Demon Emperor happily accepted Zumaji and said to the ancient Demon Emperor, "Thank you for your success. It's safe. Please listen to my good news."
The ancient devil gently waved his hand and stopped talking.
The Black Mountain Demon Emperor respectfully bowed to the ancient Demon Emperor, hugged his fist, turned and left.
At this time, Tian naturally didn't know what happened in this secret room.
He still killed the demon family and destroyed the enchanted city in the demon world with other Tiangong realm powers. At present, another magic city turned into ruins.
Under the joint encirclement and killing of all the people, the magic cultivation in the city undoubtedly missed the net and fell into the ruins.
The 96th city. Tian looked at the ruins and murmured.
Just as he was ready to continue to take people to another small town in the demon world more than 10,000 miles away, his eyes suddenly coagulated and looked ahead. The other Tiangong realm Danyang also felt the same, and looked at it with Tiani. There was no need for mental observation, but with the naked eye, they could see that nearly 50 demons surrounded by black fog were moving in a blink, which was less than 10 miles away from themselves.
All of the 50 demon practitioners are demon emperors.
"Master, I sensed the smell of the previous treasure, and there were 2 other treasures, all of which were of the same level," suddenly the cicada said.
"Be careful, everyone.
The other party is well prepared. There is more than one magic weapon with immortal level, including the Black Mountain Magic Emperor." Hearing the voice of the cicada, Tian said to the people at the first time. Judging from the appearance of the other party, Tian has judged for the first time that the other party must have been fully prepared for coming here. Otherwise, how could he come here in a swagger contrary to the previous normal? While Tian and others were waiting for a big war, unexpectedly, those demons suddenly moved and disappeared from their original place.
Immediately, Tianyuan's heavenly eyes shone through and observed everywhere.
He was worried that the other party might use some conspiracy, so he took the way of building the plank road openly and concealing the situation secretly to launch a sneak attack. However, after careful search, no trace was found.
"Go!" Tian whispered, and the 8 of them left here quickly.
They also performed the great movement. At the next moment, Tian and others have appeared at the entrance of the Eye of the Demon World. Here, Morong Jun is near the invisible magic gas vortex and is concentrating on observing the movement around him.
Morong Jun, returned to the Earth Star.
Tian released more than a dozen heart-connecting insects, walked near the Eye of the Underworld, then greeted Morong Jun, entered the space channel together, and soon came to the Valley of Life and Death. Outside the valley, the disciples of the Maitreya Palace are still carefully guarding in the Huafan stone area. The golden eye god carving in the sky has fallen to the top of a big tree, but a pair of sharp eyes don't shine golden light and wander around. Seeing Tian and others show up, those disciples with high status in the Maitreya Palace greet them one after another, while the other disciples burst into a loud cheering. "You disciples, you've worked hard. This war with the Devil World, our Maitreya Palace has won the biggest victory since Panga's founding of the world." After nodding and greeting the top leaders of the Maitreya Palace, Tian flew up into the air, looked down at the many disciples below, and spread his voice far away.
"Mighty! Mighty!"
The disciples of the Maitreya Palace burst into cheers again.
"This time I entered the demon world and killed 164 people of the Demon Emperor." Tian continued to speak loudly.
There was another burst of cheers below. These disciples of the Maitreya Palace knew that the Devil Emperor, especially the Shadowless Devil Emperor and the Purple Dove Devil Emperor, had been captured by Tian Shang, which had already spread among the disciples of the Maitreya Palace. The Demon Emperor is equivalent to the existence of the Great Friars in the human kingdom, and the 8 great energy in the palace killed 164 Demon Emperors in the demon world.
What a brilliant achievement!
70 or 80,000 disciples of the Maitreya Palace cheered excitedly, and their voices rose higher and higher. Around Tian, Tiangongjing Danning just smiled and said nothing.
Whatever Tian said, they just smiled and acquiesced. For the reason why Tian suddenly left the demon world, these people guessed in their hearts.
There is only one reason, that is, Tian sensed the existence of danger. Otherwise, he would never withdraw when he saw so many demon emperors. When he returned to the Earth Star, it was absolutely impossible for Tian to tell the real reason in the face of many disciples. In this way, he gave vent to his disciples. Not only can we not be discouraged, but we also need to cheer up to raise morale. However, the people were also drunk with this chi boosting method. The total number of demon emperors in the demon world did not add up to 164, but the palace master's heart did not jump. He opened his mouth and reported this number.
He was really not afraid to reveal the bottom.
Judging from the current situation, it proves that they are indeed worried. Many disciples of the Maitreya Palace don't know how many demon emperors there are in the demon world. Only a few of them who know about this matter are powerful in the heavenly palace.
Hearing that so many demons were killed, the crowd immediately boiling.
The applause hasn't come down yet, but Yi Tian's hands are empty, and his face is full of excited expression. In addition, kill 86 million demons in other realms. Destroy 1268 big and small magic cities. With Yi Tian's report of every number, thunderous cheers broke out in all directions. No one knows what kind of achievements Yi Tian has made in the demon world, and they have no specific concept of these demon cultivation in cities. They only know that Yi Tian, as the palace master, will not talk casually.
The data must be accurately counted.
Such amazing results are naturally extremely exciting. Next to him, the 7 Tiangongjing Danning knelt down to Yi Tian at this time. It's really the best choice for the palace master to force cattle to eat this share. Seeing that he casually said a few numbers, all the disciples looked like beating chicken blood. They were red in the face and red in the ears. I looked like I was a disciple of the Maitreya Palace. I was glorious. In the cheers of the earthquake, Yi Tian pressed his hands again and said in a loud voice, "After a big battle with the demon world, our palace master also discovered a great secret, that is, killing a certain number of demons, which will greatly improve his cultivation. This time, 8 of us in the heavenly palace were able to kill 86 million demons together. As a result, they all broke through from the early stage of the heavenly palace to the middle stage of the heavenly palace, and our palace master was lucky from the early stage of the heavenly palace breaking through the peak of the heavenly palace is the greatest harvest of our Maitreya Palace."
When Yi Tian finished the sentence, the scene immediately calmed down.
Many disciples of the Maitreya Palace began to feel the breath emitted by Yi Tian and others.
Naturally, those who first felt the breakthrough of these people were the great friars in Yupu territory.
They are much more sensitive to the breath of monks than other low-level disciples. Sure enough, I broke through the realm in such a short time, and all broke through the realm. After Xianran checked it again, he murmured. When he said this, his face was full of envy. He thought to himself that if he could break through to the heavenly palace as soon as possible, enter the demon world and kill countless demons this time, he might break through to the middle of the heavenly palace, then he might have a place next to the palace master at this time. Although he had some regrets in his heart, he still hugged his fist and said, "Congratulations on the master's success in Taoism, and congratulations on your fellow students reaching a new high." With Xianran as the leader, Morong Chanxian, Shuilaigui, Yaowang, Situjuanru, Liao Tungwen and other disciples also congratulated one after another. Once the collective breakthrough was confirmed, the disciples of the Maitreya Palace were boiling again. These disciples come from a variety of backgrounds. They all have their own understanding of the great powers in the heavenly palace. As long as there are great monks in the Jade Pu realm, they can be regarded as a large sect. The heavenly palace realm power is absolutely rare. It's good that there is a sect that can have a heavenly palace realm power. The Maitreya Palace suddenly rose in just 2 or 3 years, and the strong people in the palace appeared frequently. Every day, there were a large number of people who broke through the realm, and there were 8 new talents in the heavenly palace. Up to now, the palace master Yi Tian has reached the peak of the heavenly palace, and the rest have entered the middle of the heavenly palace. These powerful forces are concentrated in the same sect. These disciples have never seen or heard of. Think about the huge resources and many powerful cards that the Maitreya Palace can provide. Even the most ordinary Maitreya disciples secretly make up their mind. We have a goal to strive for, that is to enter the heavenly palace. And in the war, we should kill more demons and improve cultivation as much as possible. Yi Tian's words instantly raised the passion of the disciples of the Maitreya Palace for killing demons to an unprecedented level. All the disciples of the Maitreya Palace were excited and full of fighting spirit, and the scene was very warm. Only one person, outside the Huafan stone defense zone, looked at such a scene, but his heart was mixed with feelings.
This person is the Lord of Xiapenglai. Courtier Lu.
After the two wars, he didn't have any chance to fight, because no demon cultivation could break out of the Huafan stone defense area. And he can't enter the Huafan stone defense area, so his mana will be lost in an instant.
Let alone help kill Demon Xiu, I'm afraid the aftermath of the fierce battle will kill him.
After these two wars, he thoroughly saw the strength of the Maitreya Palace.
Even 10,000 little Panglai could not catch up with the Maitreya Palace.
At any time before, whether it was the arrival of friars in Fengsuan Spirit Domain or the invasion of Earthstar by Mingxiu, Xiao Panglai adopted a wise strategy to protect himself, never caring about his own interests.
As for many ordinary people, they are allowed to live and die. Even so, little Panglai is declining day by day. Let's take another look.
When the Dark Friar of the Square-Inch Spirit Domain came, Zhuang was greater than the Ming Friar invaded the earth.
Now there are plenty of troops, abundant resources, and full details. He has benefited so much from fighting with the demon family. Is this karma?
When Lu Chaochen saw the scene in front of him, he felt both envy and shame.
As the ancestor of Little Panglai and the Great Friar of Yupu territory, he thought he could get the attention of the Maitreya Palace by joining this war.
But looking at the Maitreya Palace, the Great Friar of Yupu state actually exists very often. He asked himself that if the Maitreya Palace was not in front of him, he would never lead the Little Panglai disciples to face the demon family.
Is it really wrong to be weak and avoid the world?
Courtier Lu was very tangled in his heart. When the disciples of the Maitreya Palace shouted to celebrate, he turned sadly and left step by step. As for where to go, he was also at a loss. Yi Tian naturally saw the man's departure, but he didn't ask him to stay or say anything. Naturally, the Maitreya Palace will not accept Xiapenglai's disciples, let alone give them any resource support, because he wants to be worthy of the disciples of the Maitreya Palace. The Maitreya Palace embraces all rivers, spits out the old and accepts the new, but it is definitely not a shelter, a charity or a good man. In the fight against the Dark Friars in the Maitreya Palace, Little Panglai is definitely a behemoth compared with the Maitreya Palace.
They can handle everything with their hands.
The only negative impact is that you may face bloody retaliation from the main doors of the Square-Inch Spirit Domain.
Little Panglai did not participate. Little Panglai also did not participate in the War of the Ming nationality.
Now, when the Maitreya Palace is so strong that they don't need any allies, they come to take a ride.
Naturally, they won't be welcomed. Just go.
From now on, take care of yourself. We swept through the demon world, and the demon cultivation was terrified and fled everywhere. In order to avoid the worries of all disciples, we specially came up together to report the situation.
In a while, we will continue to return to the demon world and kill the demon cultivation. If there is a runaway demon cultivation coming here, we will give it to your brothers.
At this time, Yi Tian said again. Kill devil repair.
Defend the valley of life and death. Defend the Maitreya Palace.
Immediately, a cry broke out in the crowd.
Yi Tian turned around and took a look at the other Tiangong realm powers, and flew to the ground.
All the great powers in the heavenly palace immediately followed. They all understood that Yi Tian wanted to explain to them the real intention of returning to the Earth Star.
Yi Tian took out a magic weapon cave, closed the door and went in.
The crowd swarmed in and then entered the cave.
Sit down.
Yi Tian opened the door of the cave again and pointed to the seat in the cave.
This time I came back to make the next battle plan. According to the cicada's induction, those demon emperors had at least 2 magic tools of fairy level.
As for what kind of magic tools, we still don't know. Moreover, according to my estimation, the devil cultivation can gather to come, which must be something to rely on, and in their view, they must also have the assurance of victory. There are only 2 reasons why the group appears and moves away at the same time. One is to lure us to catch up, and the other is to show weakness to us and paralyze us. The more the devil cultivation is like this, the more we should pay enough attention to it, and we must destroy the devil world in a short time. According to Master Sui Huang, when the demon world comes back, the universe will be in chaos.
We shouldn't have too much time.
Therefore, things on Earth and stars must be settled as soon as possible.
The people listened quietly. Yi Tian's words were originally expected by them.
It is impossible for the palace leader Yi Tian to live in the Earth star for a long time.
The heaven and the universe is his big world.
Maybe after the heaven and the universe has calmed down the war of foreign nations, he will have a greater mission and leave the spirit realm and fly to the fairy world.
Now, it is a rare time for them to fight with Yi Tian day and night.
If one day, Yi Tian ascends to the fairyland and becomes the overlord, even if they don't soar, they will have enough capital to boast to their disciples and grandchildren one day.
What about your grandfather, me and Yi Tian Xian Emperor? If we can fly up and follow Yi Tian, then this time will be the most rare treasure between us. The world is like a chess game. Now, all we have to do is play the chess of the demon world. If the palace master has any plans, please give orders, that is, we will all obey the command of the palace master. At this time, when Yi Tian stopped talking and looked at the people, Yin Yunyang took the lead in saying,
"Yes, even though there are many magic lands, they also have magic weapons comparable to immortal weapons, but we don't have many cards.
It's a dead battle with Demon Xiao." Morong Jun also answered.
"Well, in that case, make the final preparations before the war."
Yi Tian said something and motioned. He took out a pile of black dragon armor from Shumi Ring and put it on the table.
In view of the big explosion in the magic fire city, each person took 5 sets of dragon armor and put it on his body. When they heard the speech, they moved immediately without saying a word. They soon dressed up and sat down again. Yi Tian then took out 7 jade bottles again, gave each one, and said, "Since Jin entered the Heaven Palace realm, the ordinary healing elixir has been difficult to meet the huge mana requirements. This is the healing elixir I specially refined for the friars in the Heaven Palace realm.
I thought anyone who needs it would give it again. Now everyone gives one and keep it ready. Taking this elixir can only restore 60% of mana in an instant, but it should be enough."
"Okay, thank you, palace leader."
Everyone said thanks and put away the pills.
When the people put away the pill, Yi Tianmu looked around and continued, "Originally, these resources can also be distributed in the demon world, but I still took you back to Earth Star. The main reason is not because of these resources,"
Yi Tian said here, still glancing at each face in turn.
Everyone didn't speak, but listened attentively.
Everyone knew that what Yi Tian said next might be the focus.
Sure enough, Yi Tian scanned it and continued, "The 8 of us have been fighting and killing in the demon world for a long time. Even if the demon Xiao doesn't know our name, everyone may have a general understanding of their own strength. Moreover, they will formulate targeted attack methods against the 8 of us. So, this time when we enter the demon world, we have to exchange identities to confuse the demon cultivation, let them distinguish between true and false, and take them by surprise. Since the palace leader said so, I'm sure the palace leader has mature consideration, and we just follow the order of the palace leader." When everyone was surprised, Tan Suching was the first to speak.
"Yes," the palace leader said. "How can I change it?" Others also asked one after another.
"Okay." Yi Tian nodded slightly and began to give advice to everyone.
Everyone nodded frequently while listening.
In the following period of time, according to Yi Tian's instructions, they returned to their caves and began to prepare. An hour later, the people gathered in Yi Tian's cave again, briefly touched their heads, and opened the door of the cave again.
8 Tiangong Kungfu came out of the magic weapon cave.
Under the gaze of many disciples of the Maitreya Palace, he performed the earth hiding technique and fled to the demon world from the entrance of the eye of the demon world.
The person in front, judging from his clothes and appearance, is Morong Jun. But in fact, this is not Morong Jun, but the palace leader Yi Tian. The second one is Yi Tian in appearance. In fact, it happens to be Morong Jun. Their breath is suppressed.
In the middle of the heavenly palace realm, Morong Jun plays in his true color, while Yi Tian is the only one who suppresses the realm.
For Yi Tian, there is no pressure to do all this.
The third and fourth are Yin Yunyang and Tan Suching. They also exchanged identities. The other 4 people, Lingming Stone Monkey and Hua Su exchanged identities, and Yu Yan and Yen Zhongkai exchanged identities. Although Lingming Stone Monkey was dressed as a woman, there was no flaw on the surface, which surprised Yi Tian at that time. The appearance of the Lingmingxi monkey played by Hua Su is changed without flaws, but Hua Su's uninhibited look of imitating Lingmingxi monkey seems a little stiff. Simply, Yi Tian let Hua Su play as he is. As for the magic weapons used by everyone, they remain the same and have not changed. At this time, everyone is empty-handed, and there is no special sign that can see through their identity. The group soon crossed the space passage and came to the exit of the Eye of the Underworld.
Yi Tianyuan, disguised as Morong Jun, looked out of the fog vortex through the black magic fog.
Compared with the time when I came back, there were dozens of nether practitioners there, all of whom were shrouded in black fog, guarding the entrance of the space passage.
On the contrary, Yi Tian didn't find any invisible magic cultivation around him. Cicada, have you found anything? Yi Tian stopped in the fog vortex and communicated with the cicada in Zumaji.
The smell of those two kinds of magic tools was found in the underground 10,000 miles away. In addition, there were the smell of 2 high-level puppets and several high-level warcraft, which should be 3. The cicada felt for a moment and whispered to Yi Tianshan. Yi Tian immediately relayed all the breath sensed by the cicada to other Tiangong realms.
Even Yi Tian could not imagine that the cicada could play such an important role in the war with the demon world.
Then he gave a voice and ordered a few words. Then Morong Jun, disguised as Yi Tian, flashed and took the lead in flying out of the magic gas vortex, and the rest followed. At the moment when they flew out of the whirlpool of evil qi, Yin Yunyang and Tan Suqing both shot, sacrificed their flying swords and cut off dozens of evil practitioners.
These dozens of demon monks only have the cultivation of Washinjing of human friars.
Naturally, it is difficult to escape the joint killing of 2 great friars in Tiangong. Seeing a flash of swordlight, he solved these demons and ended the battle. At the next moment, Morong Jun, standing in front of him, let go of his mind, observed, waved his hand and flew in a certain direction. Not to mention, his waving movement really has the charm of Yi Tian. Naturally, under the leadership of Morong Jun, the people flew to the nearest magic city. When Yi Tian and others swept the demon world, because the city was relatively small, they didn't care to visit it for the time being.
The direction of this city is not the direction where the demons ambush.
In this competition between hunting and anti-hunting, the more real and flawless, the first move will be taken.
Then there is the big collision of strength.
Have those breath changed? Yi Tian, who was in the second place, asked the cicada in Shumi Ring again.
No change.
It's still in its original position. The cicada immediately sent out a divine message.
Keep me informed of any changes.
Yi Tian said again, and there were no other actions. At this time, he quietly let go and observed the hiding place of magic repair. He found that there was a medium-sized magic city hundreds of miles away from the hiding place of magic repair. This magic city has not been visited by them, and there can also be magic cultivation activities in the city, which seems to be no different from other magic cities.
Are they waiting for their own people to destroy the magic city?
When Yi Tian guessed in his heart, the target magic city in front was far away. However, the cicada still didn't send any message, which showed that the hidden demon cultivation still didn't take any action and didn't seem to have any intention to show up. They were still flying fast and didn't change their original plan because of magic cultivations in action. When the party arrived outside the little magic city, Yi Tian cleaned up and summoned more than 2,500 martial spirit puppets who stepped into the divine realm and killed them directly in the city. They suddenly left the demon world.
They must give the demon Xiao a reasonable explanation on the surface.
This explanation is that they return to the Earth Star and re-attack the demon world with puppets. Releasing martial spirit puppets here recklessly can show that you are not afraid of demon cultivation and do not hide your strength in front of demon cultivation. It is an unscrupulous performance, which will make demon cultivation less wary. On the other hand, these people have exchanged identities.
If we don't make frequent moves before meeting the real goal, once there is a mistake, we will expose our identity. And Wohuan Puppet is undoubtedly the best shot candidate.
Of course, just in case, the rest of the Tiangong realm Danang also brought a large number of martial soul puppets. Since the demon cultivation is ready to attack them in the demon world, the possibility of preventing a large number of demon cultivation from attacking the stone defense area is 0. There is no pressure in the Valley of Life and Death. More than 2,500 step-by-step martial spirit puppets attacked the small town of the demon world with a radius of less than 100 miles, showing their strong combat effectiveness.
The highest level of demon cultivation in this city is the cultivation of Washinjing. The rest of the demon cultivation realm should be much lower. The house collapsed in a roar, and many demon cultivation fell in the crazy killing.
All the buildings were destroyed indiscriminately by the martial spirit puppets.
All this is in line with the fierce fighting style of the Maitreya Palace. Some demons who saw the opportunity early tried to flee out of the city and escape from the encirclement and killing of the martial spirit puppets. However, at this time, these great monks in the heavenly palace had already shot, and several flying swords flashed out. Where the cold light passed, no demon monk could escape out of the city. In the manipulation of flying sword, Tian and others didn't use special techniques.
All of them were sweeping from straight to straight. When the sword light flickered, they were not careful. Maybe at the next moment, no one could tell who was manipulating which sword.
In less than half an hour, Tian and others entered the first magic city attacked by the demon world and were destroyed.
At the next moment, Tian called back the martial spirit puppet and earned Zumaji.
Morongjun let go of his mind and chose another magic city more than 20,000 miles away. This magic city is also not the one that the demon repair ambushed. This time, the 8 great friars chose to use the great movement technique. After a blink, they came to the magic city. This city is twice as big as the magic city just now. Among them, there are some powerful demons. But this time, in addition to the attack of Wuhuan puppets, the 8 powerful flying swords in Tiangong also strengthened their lethality. Where the flying sword goes, it still doesn't cost too much to kill those demons. Like the replica of the little Mexican city before, the magic city was quickly destroyed by the martial spirit puppet. Master, the breath over there is moving. In the roaring sound, Tian's ear suddenly heard the sound of cicada. Keep watching and report at any time.
Tian just replied in a hurry, and continued to manipulate an ordinary flying sword to snipe at Ningxiu. They moved about 100 miles towards this side, and then stopped. A moment later, the cicada sent out a divine voice again.
Moving 100 miles this way, didn't it get close to the city they were ambushing?
Tian immediately realized this problem, and then quietly sent a divine voice to Morongjun. Morongjun's performance was very in place. At this moment, he suddenly turned around and looked at the position where the demon cultivation was at this time. His mind was immediately released and covered that position.
At the next moment, Morongjun said a few words to the audience.
Tian and others nodded, then gave up attacking the small city, took back their flying swords and martial spirit puppets, and flew to the seat hidden by the demon cultivation. This behavior just shows that Tian has found the hidden demon cultivation and rushed to World War I.
But out of caution, the people on Tian's side did not use the big move, but chose to fly.
At least, it should be given such a response and layout.
All this is in line with the cultivation realm and reaction ability of Tian and others.
If Tian and others pretend that they have not found magic cultivation at all, but deliberately and foolishly enter the surrounding circle of magic cultivation, it will really arouse the suspicion of magic cultivation. This time, during the flight, the 8 great powers in the heavenly palace opened their minds and covered the place where the devil repair ambushed, without hiding the fact that they had found the devil repair. They fled very quickly. When they arrived at the magic city about 10,000 miles away, dozens of figures suddenly flew up from the ground and stood in the air. They seemed to wait for the arrival of Tian and others, and then launched a fierce battle. Cicada, are the smells you observed scattered?
Tian sent a message to Cicada again in the flying crowd.
Master, it has been dispersed. The breath of a treasure and the breath of 2 magic puppets have remained underground, and the rest have flown into the air. Soon, the cicada said again.
Okay, continue monitoring.
Tian had a foundation in his heart and passed this message to everyone around him. In such a distant place, his source heavenly eye could not see the ground, and the hiding means of demon cultivation was also very clever.
His mind could not sense the existence of underground demon cultivation.
But now, he has a general judgment on the attack method that Devil Xiao is going to take. Devil Xiao is also playing with himself.
It depends on who has the best means.
In the case of taking the lead, it depends on whose strength is stronger.
Yi Tian didn't relax a little because he had found out the strategic intention of Demon Xiu. Up to now, he didn't know the cards in the hands of Demon Xiu, but he knew it would never be too weak. The flight speed of the team was very fast, but more than 100 miles away from the location of the devil cultivation, Morongjun in front suddenly gestured in the air, and the people immediately stopped.
I'm kidding. Since he knows that the other party has hands and powerful means in the underground ambush, Yi Tian naturally won't let the other party have a chance. Next, there is a great competition of wisdom between the two sides. After the team stopped, Huasu's Lingming stone monkey continued to fly to the location of the demon cultivation in the sky with a careless look.
Lingming comes back.
Yi Tian, disguised by Morongjun, gave a big drink, and Huasucai reluctantly returned.
The people's thoughts covered the ground and underground.
A moment later, Morongjun waved his hand and the people began to retreat slowly. With such a posture, it is obvious that the 8 Heavenly Palace Realm Great Energy retreated without fighting this time.
The reason is very simple. It doesn't need to be analyzed. Magic Xiu can know because the other party found an ambush hidden underground. At this time, Demon Xiu finally couldn't help it.
The shadow surrounded by 3 black fog under the ground otherwise flew up and shot towards Yi Tian.
Almost at the same time, dozens of demon emperors in the sky also followed like lightning.
Seeing this, Yi Tian, disguised by Morongjun, made a gesture. His imitation mountain and river seal zoomed in an instant and met the demon cultivation 30 or 40 miles away from here. It seemed that those demons had been prepared for a long time. Each side scored a point, bypassed Morongjun's mountain and river seal, and fled towards the 8-person team. During the flight, 5 dark shadows suddenly appeared in the team out of thin air, including 3 ferocious and strange warcraft, while the other 2 were black puppets. One of the warcraft was in the air and suddenly opened his mouth. A terrible flame flew out of his mouth and quickly turned into a huge fire, sweeping towards Yi Tianba. A demon monk, with a black light moving in his hand, followed the flame and shot at Huasu disguised as Lingming stone monkey. The 2 dark puppets of Wu Soul jumped at Morongjun, who turned into Yi Tian.
It was such an attack.
At this time, Yi Tian's heart moved. Facing the terrible flame sweeping through, he did not release his original spirit beast, but quickly urged the 5 element beads in his hand. Suddenly, a yellow halo of 7 or 8 square meters covered the residence, which had the power of the Heavenly Palace, but the mountain and river seal in his hand also quickly shot and quickly enlarged on the top of everyone's head.
At the same time, Yi Tian's Tianbong realm Danning also shot.
Although the gravity field can't help the terrible flame vomited by Warcraft, the function of the 5 element speed is extremely powerful. Once triggered, it can avoid water, fire, earth, wood, and gold. In short, all the 5 elements can avoid. The waves of fire swept into the yellow halo of the 5-shaped beads, but turned into the virtual shadow of the fire, rolled over the people's bodies, and none of their hair was damaged. At this time, the strong gravity field suppressed the 2 black puppets and the black light emitted by the demon cultivation. Although they are in the gravity field, the 2 black puppets are extremely strong.
They can't completely fix their bodies. They are still moving. They just seem to be trapped in a sticky mud.
Their action speed is very slow, like slow action.
The same is true of the black light.
Under the suppression of mountain and river seal, it became much slower and slowly shot at the Lingming stone monkey. Tan Suqing, who turned into Yen Yunyang, suddenly shot at the Tian Luo net in her hand, and the white light caught the black light. The real Yen Yunyang, however, suddenly opened Hoyi's bow in her hand and shot at the demon Xiu who offered black light. The scene immediately became extremely complex and chaotic.
The magic light shines.
Seeing that Yi Tian had made so many preparations, a demon Xiu and the demon Xiu Q shouted loudly, and a bright ball suddenly broke out again in the sky.
It's exactly what Yi Tian once saw in Magic Fire City.
Under the white light, the 2 slow-moving black puppets moved much faster.
All this happened just a moment ago.
Before Yi Tian could deal with the 2 black puppets, they changed like this. In a hurry, Yi Tian gestured, took out the desolate Buddhist beads sent by the Great Dream Fancy, and slammed them into the round beads in the sky. However, he drank loudly, the Buddhist light shines. With a bang, when the Honghuang round bead met the archaic magic bead, the light of the archaic magic bead suddenly converged, and the light was sharply shortened. The two black puppets whose actions had been accelerated under the mountains and rivers suddenly returned to a slow state.
At this time, Tian was injured and acted quickly. When he pressed somewhere on the two black puppets, a mechanism popped up.
The next moment, the black spar in it had been pulled out by Tian.
The two black puppets became dead and motionless in an instant.